Radio 560 WQAM Miami Fort Lauderdale presents The Neil Rogers Show. To talk to Neil, call 567-0560, toll free for Dade and Broward, or pound 560 on your cell phone. The opinions of Neil, his guests, callers, or anyone else on the show do not necessarily reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Reed Acquisitions, or the Beasley Broadcast Group. Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Put the fucking lotion in the bag!
Bobby Bar.
Hey, Papa, what is it they think you are? Hey, Papa, after begging all those women, now you're in secret places. Bobby Bar, Bobby Bar. Who the hell are you? You judge what people do. A Nazi redneck fool, and it ain't nice as I do. Bobby Bar, what is what you are? Break the KKK, they could use it like an A. Bobby Bar, Bobby Bar. An angry little knife, and Hitler like mustaches, sanctimonious ass, who was elected by white trash. Bobby Bar, what a schmuck you are. Providing justice for all with your Hitler blow up. Bobby Bar, Bobby Bar. You phony hypocrite. On a power trip, if you got dictatorship, we'd have no tater, just a big Bobby Bar.
Channel 1 at 560 WQM. It's an amazing Thursday, boys and girls. Wow. Yes, Virginia, there is a press conference. And will we carry it? Well, before we get to that, let's read this fax that we got from Peter this morning, alleged, which I'm sure that's a phony name, but nevertheless, because nobody this stupid would put a real name on it, even just a first name. Neil, I am appalled, spelled A-P-P-A-U-L-L-E-D. I am appalled that you didn't carry the press conference for Michael Jordan. Jordan is someone who can speak properly. He is intelligent. One of the greatest basketball players who played for 13 years, who was an icon and someone of high stature known all over the world. You arrogant, egotistical idiot won't allow us to hear his press conference. If you didn't want to listen, you should have gone home and leave George to complete the show. Yeah, George would have been real.
Oh,
yeah, right.
boy.
He was hot to trot to put that crap on, right?
No.
Today you had better carry the Jimmy Johnson's press conference. Boy, you are so illiterate, Peter. It's no wonder you want to hear a bunch of dumb jocks. You had better carry, underline, the Jimmy Johnson's press conference. Who do you think you are? I think I'm...
Oh, God.
Probably. You must be miserable. Am I miserable?
No.
You dislike everyone and everything.
No.
You don't like football or basketball. Wrong. I do watch a lot of football, as a matter of fact. Not as much as I used to, because, quite frankly, a lot of it's boring. And basketball, you're right, I don't like it. A bunch of 7-foot freaks. This is your rights. That is your rights. Peter, you are so illiterate. You must be the one that's miserable and must look in the mirror and say, God, am I dumb? Are you dumb?
Yes.
Why do you want to deprive us of listening to a press conference? I dare you to read this on the air. Reason is the fact that you are gutless. Well, how do you like that, Peter? I just read it on the air, verbatim, word for word, including all your illiterate bull. Okay, there you go. And yes, we will be carrying the Jimmy Johnson press conference, not because of your facts, Peter, but because already as soon as I read it in the paper this morning, when Bluff Lindsay called me at home this morning, I said, of course we're going to be carrying it because it has to do, this is the Dolphin station, and it's something that's happening here, and it's a total out of the blue shock that nobody expected. So around 11 o'clock, we'll carry it in its entirety, and George and I will sit back here and eat lunch. Well, you'd better. You had better carry it, or else I'm going to my pants, is what Peter says, and maybe get a brain. In fact, maybe that's where his brains are, and they might wind up in his pants, which at least they'll be tangible and right there in open view for everybody. Absolutely, positively.
Unbelievable.
And let me say it again. I talked to a lot of people at the hockey game last night about several people, a zillion people, by the way, including lots of Toronto folks.
Oh!
And not one of them said anything about you. It was really a shame you didn't carry that thing. They all agreed that who the hell cares?
They played the whole thing at 2 o'clock.
No, they didn't play the whole thing. Mandich played some of it. And by the way, yes, I did listen yesterday because Mandich was on.
Yeah.
But at any rate, no, he played clips of it, and then maybe later on he played the whole thing. And I would expect him to have played it because, how else are you going to kill 2.5 hours? Now, in all fairness, ordinarily, Mandich is not a guy that throws on press conferences. You know that. Well, you don't listen, so I know that. But at any rate, he did, because obviously it was a big sports story. And like I keep trying to tell these mental cripples like Peter, this is not a sports show.
No.
It's the Neil Rogers show, okay? It is not a sports show. Michael Jordan has got nothing to do with this show, with this town. He doesn't play here. He doesn't play for the Heat, unfortunately. And that's it. So the fact that CBS thought it was a big simus, and CNN, and everybody else in the goddamn world, that's their prerogative. I didn't think it was, and I still don't. And it wasn't really news. I heard during the commercial breaks, I flipped on the audio here on CNN, I heard a couple of comments, oh, he's going to spend a lot of time with his kids, and his family's important, and it's a full time. Well, that's great. So is there something shocking or exciting about that?
No.
Again, and it's interesting that this is happening, because last week I mentioned several times this business about Jock press conferences, which in the past, I mean, the Michael Jordan thing, obviously there would be one, but in the past, there wasn't all this business. After every ball game, after every pinochle tournament, there's got to be another press conference. Who the hell cares? But because we have all these sports radio stations and TV stations and 24-hour news networks, they got a lot of time to fill up. So naturally, this helps to put a lot of crap on the air to kill some good time, I guess, or bad time. It's just inane. And 90% of the time, everything they say is very predictable. Now, Jimmy Johnson today, it was not predictable, and yes, I have some thoughts about it, even though I don't talk about sports or the Dolphins very much, because I'm, like a spectator. I'm not that involved. I'm certainly not emotionally involved, like I was with the Leafs last night. Just a quick comment about, there's so many things all going on at the same time. First, let me just say this, just briefly, we'll skim over this. The Senate impeachment trial of the president begins today officially, but I just skim right over that because that's not important, okay? Now, the Panthers may get Pavel Bure. Maybe announced today. It looks like maybe there's a chance. Wow. That would sure turn my head around. I'd sure go for that. And Peter Worrell in the minor leagues. I tell you, he's not a player. I've been trying to tell you bozos that for the whole year, including last year. Not a player. Never going to be. And the Panthers made a great comeback there, sparked by Ray Whitney in the third period, and the fact that the Maple Leafs were out of gas, too many games in too few nights. But we don't make excuses. We'll take the tie, thank you. But again, the Panthers, fifth time in a row, they made a nice comeback. Ray Whitney sparked the comeback with the first goal, and after that they were on fire, and the Leafs were gasping for oxygen. Although I will say this, and Maple Leaf fans, we don't cry and we don't moan like some of the other fans about the officiating, but the third and the tying goal, it was offside. Then he pulled it out over the blue line. And interestingly enough, some of us, all around me, we heard a whistle. It must have been some jackass in the stands, and I sat back in my seat thinking, okay, it's offside, the play is over. Next thing I know, I look up, the puck is in the net, the crowd is on their feet, they're screaming, the game is tied. I'm thinking, wait a minute. That was offside. But like I said, we make no excuses. We ran out of gas, and the Panthers, to their credit, came back and tied it up. So everybody went home happy with a point last night. Tremendous game. Too bad there were 5,000 empty seats. This morning's papers will tell you the official attendance, which includes season tickets sold, 17,500 and some odd. But the actual number of seats, the people through the turnstiles, and I know this for a fact from people on the inside, was about 14,500. And of all the teams in the league, for some strange reason, when the Leafs come down here, they don't draw. They don't draw. The most goals of any team in the league this year, certainly one of the two or three most exciting teams in the league. Does that make a difference to these people? No, it does not. They don't draw. And by the way, for the people in front of me, the baby people, weren't there last night. God bless you. Thank you so much. Everybody in my section was well behaved, on their best behavior. I saw the whole game, no problem. We had 8 billion people come by and say hello. The only one who acted a little bit bizarre and aberrant and was unacceptable, because we're not impressed by you standing in the aisle with your cell phone while the game is going on, was Lenny, the limo driver. Which a couple of guys finally screamed at him, "Hey, sit down, asshole, the game is going." Oh, and he all of a sudden sneaked in there and sat down. Lenny, we're not impressed. You're a good guy. You're who you are, and you have a great limo service. And also, Ken's got a great limo service, too, in case he missed yesterday, apologizing profusely for that jackass that called Tuesday. Ken at All Points Limousine Services, great guy. In fact, such a good guy that he's even got other people impersonating him on the air, which is a first on all the years I've done this show. That's a first, that we ever had anybody calling in impersonating a limo driver. So you ought to be honored, Ken, that anybody takes you that seriously and that is that jealous, I guess. Maybe it was Lenny, I don't know. But anyway, other than Lenny the limo driver, everybody was on their best behavior. It turned into a scintillating game. And again, the Panthers played only one period, the third period, but nevertheless, turned into a terrific battle. And too bad there were 5,000 empty seats. The greatest column, I thought the one about Levon and about the fact that Dan LeBastard, he was Cuban, it was us, we won the World Series. I thought that was the worst article I ever read in my life. But the one today, the one this morning, Please, Jimmy, reconsider and stay is the headline by Dan LeBastard in the Miami Herald. This article could have been easily written by a 5-year-old child or by someone who has the emotional maturity level of, like I said, a 2-year-old child. 9 minutes after 10, we will be carrying a Jimmy Johnson press conference from pillar to post. As soon as it happens, you'll hear it. We're getting ready to read the facts again here. Well, it was pretty good, Peter.
You're a bastard.
I know someone that could use a sandwich or two. Kate Moss, that skinny chick, the skinniest chick I know. Your future's bleak, that heroin chic, you got to lay off the blow. Kate Moss, that skinny chick, we want to know what's the deal. Your clothes are crap when you're in rehab. You're worse than Ally McBeal.
10:13 at 560 WQM. So getting back to Jimmy and all his shock and amazement here, the fact that he's going to resign and announce it in about 45 minutes or thereabouts. Now, you can look at this any way you want. You know, you can look at it from, he says that he's got to spend more time with his family. He's basically don't want the pressures of all this BS anymore. He wants to change the direction of his life. His mother died a short time ago. His father's fighting cancer. He's on chemo, et cetera, and so on. You can believe that and accept that as being the only reason he wants to leave. Peter King of CNNSI this morning said that basically he thinks Jimmy doesn't see the players being motivated the way that they used to even when he was with Dallas, and how they don't have the dedication and motivation, and it's just too much of an effort to try each week, week after week, to motivate them to get out there and play. That's part of the reason. Then, of course, there's the business about, being thin-skinned and doesn't like the media criticism, et cetera, and so on, which, of course, if you don't like the media criticism, it's the wrong profession to be in. But I will say this. And I did listen this morning coming in because obviously this is a major story, and needless to say, it's one day when I have to be listening whether I want to or not. And listening to the callers that called in and the venom and the hostility, it really, there are no gray areas. There are no human areas here. In other words, maybe this is a guy who's just fed up and he's got plenty of money, he don't need the money, et cetera. I mean, he just doesn't want to do this anymore. There's none of that. There is either people like Dan LeBastard who are such emotional cripples that they're on the verge of tears and having a nervous breakdown because the football coach is going to resign, or the majority of the calls that I heard, and I only heard about a half an hour, the majority of them were like venomous and, well, we knew when he came here he was a piece of crap, and and just ripping him a major ass. Now, like I said, if you're not emotionally prepared to handle that and you don't want to take that anymore, along with all the other stuff that goes on, then you're in the wrong business because it goes with the territory. But you have seen it, especially during this past season. When he did that one press conference early in the season when he chewed the hell out of the press, just absolutely went bananas. And then, of course, the situation with this radio station and calling in on the morning show and then getting into the thing with Bo Camper on the air. The guy is very thin-skinned. He's a hothead. And unfortunately, a hell of a lot of people in coaching positions, like the Murray boys, they're a couple of hotheads, is what they are. Can take no criticism. And I don't understand that. If you're going to be a public figure like that, if you're going to go out there and, put on a show for the public and expect them to subsidize it and emotionally and tangibly support it, you got to have thicker skin than that. But at the same time, is it going to change our lives?
No.
I don't think so. But it's fascinating to me, since this is the anti-sports show, and since we get, so many of these faxes like the one I just had from illiterate Peter and some of these other morons, these jock sniffers. I was the one that told you 2 weeks ago, beyond a shadow of a doubt, when it was told to me directly by somebody who knows beyond a shadow of a doubt, that Dan Marino and Jimmy Johnson despise each other. And then I'm coming to work this morning, and for the first time on one of the other shows on this station, I actually hear that being said, not in language that's strong, but I hear it being hinted that they really aren't on the same page, and they're not fond of each other, and yada, 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 et cetera, and so on, which is maybe why a few weeks ago, when everybody was saying, well, Jimmy didn't make such a big deal about Dan setting that record touchdown pass, et cetera, and so on. Well, they don't like each other. They despise each other. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised, even though I'm sure he can't admit it publicly, that Dan Marino right now is dancing a Kazatsky. He's probably jumping up and down up there in West End or wherever he is for joy, because he doesn't like Jimmy Johnson. I mean, and how many times have I told you? People called in and want me to talk about that stuff. He hasn't shown me that much since he came here. He's improved the defense. They got a tremendous defense. But you know something? You got to be able to score points. And this phantom business of developing a running game, there wasn't any running game. There never was a running game when they played against a good team. So he really didn't show me that much, but life is going to go on. It's not like the end of the world. But you read this Dan LeBastard thing. This is sensational. Please, Jimmy, reconsider and stay. I'm not going to read much of it, but it's pathetic. It's written by somebody who sounds like an emotional cripple. It starts out by saying, is it true? Can it be? Jimmy Johnson is resigning? That's the word that started spreading at about 10 p.m. Wednesday night, crackling like a lit fuse, making its way from the Dolphins front office to the Dolphins coaches to Dolphin players, causing an explosion everywhere it hit, like it hit the fan. All we can hope is that it isn't true that Johnson just had one of his momentary mind meltings like he did after the Hurricanes' 1987 Fiesta Bowl loss, and that he's just temporarily sour because he takes losing so hard. How do you like that? Is that emotional or what?
It is so hard.
Oh, Danny LeBastard, boy, you are a basket. I was going to say a basket case. You're a bastard case. And then at the end of the column, if I can find it buried way here in the Herald Sports section, somewhere in the middle of all the important stories, not that I blame JJ if he does go back to that life. Heck, he just became dramatically underpaid. Mike Holmgren, doing the same job in Seattle, just got double the paycheck. Heck, former coach John Madden makes 5 times what Johnson does just for describing other men's coaching. Please, Jimmy, reconsider. The Dolphins need you so very much, clearly more than you need them. Is that not, doesn't that scare you? I mean, this is an adult writing in what is supposedly the superior newspaper here in South Florida. Certainly the best known in America, much more so than the Sun-Sentinel, the Miami Herald, the self-proclaimed prestigious Miami Herald. Here's an adult writing this. Oh, no, come on. No, don't knock the kids of America, okay? Little kids, little infants, I think, are far more mature and prepared to handle the hazards of life, like maybe the coach of your football team resigning. I mean, their coaches, like as soon as the season ended, their coaches getting fired and quitting and going here, and Mike Holmgren leaves the Packers to go off to Seattle. I mean, it happens. I hate to break the news to you, Dan. You better lock yourself in, brace yourself real tight. It does happen. Coaches quit. Players resign. After they get their first $10 billion like Michael Jordan, players resign. Oh, no. How is life possibly going to go on for us now? I mean, this is a classic. This really is. I want to save this. I'm going to frame it. Please, we beg you. And, of course, this coming from the same media that have been dicing him up for the last several months now, since back in August. Just dicing and slicing and ripping and tearing and et cetera and so on. Which, of course, that's their prerogative. I mean, you're going to have to take that. If you want to be in that position, you have to take the good with the bad. And if they're going to slice you up, so be it. You can't have thin skin and be a professional coach or manager in sports. You just can't do it. Like Pat Riley would say, if you can't stand the heat, then go follow some other team. That's what he said. Okay, let's get some real serious input on this here now, because I know, obviously, from here what I heard this morning, the town is full of shock and venom and psychosis. I mean, this is obviously even more important. And, of course, I guess Jimmy didn't want to be upstaged by Michael Jordan, too, right? I mean, who the hell is he? So he's going to show him a thing or two today. And we'll have the press conference for you. Don't panic. We'll have it, Peter. In fact, maybe between now and the press conference starts, you can start taking some lessons, in something. Open up a dictionary, learn a couple of words, add to your vocabulary. Maybe a couple of spelling lessons might help, because I am appalled by your facts. 567-0560, pound 560 on the prestigious Mobile One line. Here's Deerfield. Hello.
Hello. No.
Yes?
Well, first off, I don't think that it's going to make any big difference to us. I really I enjoyed watching him play.
That?
Well, because I'm not Dan LeBastard. I'll get on with it, and we'll get another coach. And I personally think that Johnson will take a year off and then wind up on another team.
Could be.
That's one thing. And also, I feel that Dan Marino's resignation will probably happen before next season.
Why is that?
I just don't feel that he's going to go the whole next year. I didn't see it this year. He did great, but I don't know if he's willing to start.
Well, let me ask you this. Realistically, how many more years can he play? I mean, LeBastard in this article, I mean, he must have been on acid when he wrote it. He says, well, maybe this happened. Part of it could be is Wayne Huizenga going to sign Dan Marino to a long-term contract? Long-term? Yeah. I mean, how long is he supposed to play? Till he's 45 years old?
Exactly.
What is this man thinking about?
They'll have him in a walker. They'll bring him out.
Exactly. They're going to have to bring him out there to have to borrow Larry Flint's wheelchair to wheel him out there.
Either that or Marino's going to go to the highest bidder, or just maybe he doesn't need the money. He will go to a Super Bowl team next year. That could possibly happen too. Those are my things. And I know those two didn't get along and it was evident.
It wasn't just that they didn't get along; they despise each other bitterly.
And that's a hard thing to do because they're both have a lot of pride, and they just want to go their own way.
Yeah. Okay.
And on the top of all of it is Wayne Huizenga, so you can imagine what's going on behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Neil.
A lot of zits flying all over the place. The zit hit the fan. Thank you, sir. Open line in Broward, 2 and Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's Boca. Hello.
Hey, Neil, first of all, you're the greatest.
Yes, I am.
When's that press conference? I just got the tail end of it.
Coming up around 11 o'clock or whenever Jimmy's good and ready. We'll let you know. We'll have it. We won't miss a word.
What about TV, do you know?
What about what?
Is it going to be on TV?
Sure, of course.
Okay, it's going to be
You
like
kidding me?
Jordan
Are you
yesterday, like
dreaming?
the Holy Ghost.
Huh?
He's going to be like Michael Jordan yesterday.
No, he's going to be much. No, see, the difference being, Michael Jordan was anticlimactic. Everybody knew he was going to retire. There was nothing exciting about sitting, listening to him talk for an hour about how he was going to have more time with his kids and raise his family. Well, what was that? Everybody knew he was retiring. They loved him. He was great. Fine, okay, have a great life. We wish you the best. But this is like out of nowhere, so it's a major happening.
It's major.
Right.
This is major, yeah.
Plus, it's happening here, so obviously we ought to be interested in it. Since this is the Dolphin station, we ought to damn well be interested in it.
So you think Marino's history?
Why would he be history? He ought to be ecstatic.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you think he's got a year or two left.
I would say one, maybe two at the outside, but, one more, I would say, realistically.
Yeah, because they get a couple receivers.
You got to understand, every game that he starts could be his last game. You do understand that, don't you, with the two bad knees? Every game that Danny Boy starts could be the last one he plays.
Oh, he's the greatest. He is the greatest to me. I mean, he is the Dolphins.
And well, I agree with that. I agree with what you just said. It has been for 15 or 16 years. But the fact is, again, you listen to the sports shows on this station, and the people trash him like he's supposed to provide an offense without any support.
No,
without wide receivers, without any running game, and of course, if they wind up losing, even if he has a sensational game, well, it's Danny. He's too old. He's a statue. He's this. He's that. Which he does. He is a statue, but he's got two bad knees. But in the meantime, you can't blame any of the deficiencies of this past season on him.
No, he's if they get a good coach or somebody, bring someone in and get a couple receivers, they're on their way because they got a great defense.
Yeah,
great defense.
Well, defense is great, but you can't. You got to score some points.
Yeah, they got no running.
Okay, have a great day.
Okay, Neil.
We have an open line in Dade, one in Broward. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. It's getting real close for that time, boy. The tension is mounting. You could cut it with a butter knife. You can smell it. You can feel it. Like I said, you can smell it in the air. Here's Coconut Creek. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
No.
Yes.
I'm going to get some intelligent conversation to this supposed resignation today.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I had to drive off the road and throw up after listening to the worst team this morning.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's going. I mean, I don't think he's done anything here. And I think if the only good conversation or good article was in the Sun Sentinel this morning. Gutless and a quitter. That's what he is.
Okay.
That's
but, I mean, isn't that his prerogative to be gutless and a quitter? I mean, if he just doesn't have the stomach for it, do we have to, put him up on a cross and crucify him? I'll be honest, when he first, I was the one that said that he was setting Shula up. Remember when he was on Fox?
Sure,
and he set him up for the fall. And, of course, it was time for Shula to go. The brainstem was finished. Nobody wants Shula back. Do we want him back?
No
chance. Huh?
Bring him back.
No way.
2 years.
Bring him back?
Bring him back for a year or two with Danny.
For what?
I think if you brought Shula back.
You're dreaming, my friend. Don Shula is not ready to deal with the athletes of the 90s. Believe me.
It may happen.
Huh?
Mark my words, it may happen.
You think Don Shula is going to come back? Okay, listen, George will put you on hold. We'll make about a $10 million bet.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. Oh, he's gone? Okay, we have an open line in Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Bring in Shula back. See, this, people that want to go backward and not forward. I don't understand that. That's like these people saying, oh, yeah, we got to have Stu Barnes on the Panthers. Huh? Now, I got news for you. Quite frankly, we'll have the Jimmy Johnson thing on, but I'm keeping my ears peeled a hell of a lot more closely and a lot more interested if that Pavel Bure deal comes down today. Then we'll have something really exciting that some of us real sports fans can get excited about.
Holy Mackinac! This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're listening to the Hockey Authority, Neil God.
Hey, kids, are you tired of that neighborhood bully?
He stole my lunch money.
Ah, shut up, kid. And tell your mom to hold the mail next time.
Next time, fight back.
But he's bigger than me.
No. Just tell Mom next time she hits the candy aisle at the grocery store, pick up a pack of new Shit Cat candy bars.
Shot Cat?
Yes, It's a new candy bar made entirely from recycled cow dung, guaranteed to turn your stomach. So next time...
All right, kid, give me a lunch.
No. Please don't take it.
Just shut up and hand it over.
Okay, here you go. But whatever you do, please don't eat my candy bar.
Hey, cool. This tastes like shit.
So, you want my lunch tomorrow, too?
We got a hunch, you gotta blow lunch when you take a bite of that shit cat bar.
10:32 at 562, and before we take any more calls, something much more important than Michael Jordan or Jimmy Johnson or the impeachment of the president. In the gossip column in the Sun Sentinel this morning, it says the eyes have it. Channel 7 and Channel 10 share more than just their love for gaudy crime news. Insider is told that Channel 7 macho man Rick Sanchez gets his eyebrows waxed every 6 weeks by the wife of Channel 10 weatherman John Gerard. I told him he didn't want to look like he's got 3 eyes, said Robin Wouch, beautician at Maggie's Salon and Spa in Cooper City. More men than you'd think come in here for that sort of stuff, for a wax job. Wouch admits, isn't that what's her name had? Brooke, she also had a wax job. Wouch admits she does her husband's eyebrows and back, too. His back. He's got a Ron Jeremy back, evidently. So does Sanchez ever pump her for Channel 10 secrets, it asks? Sometimes, she said, but it doesn't work.
I already have a homosexual relationship with Neil, so I might as well have one with you, too.
So in other words, he tries to pump her, but it doesn't work. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I have a serious question here about this whole Jimmy Johnson thing. Does anybody in this town give a crap?
Sure they do. Yeah, that's the question. He's gone. That's his material that he waited about 11 minutes for. Yeah, obviously they do, because people are calling in either with venom in their lungs or hysterically crying or like on the verge of a nervous breakdown like Dan LeBastard over there at the Herald. Yes, they do give a crap. I quite frankly don't, one way or the other. It doesn't bother me. It isn't going to change my life. I'm surprised, but not going to change the way my life works. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil, what's up?
How you doing, sir?
Listen, I think that Jimmy, he just, like you said, despises Marino and went up to Huizenga, said, look, him or me, and Marino sells out the stadium, and the bottom line is that...
Well, how could that be? Well, maybe he did that before yesterday, because Wayne was out of town, allegedly, and came back...
Right, maybe before yesterday, they spoke on the phone, and Jimmy and Huizenga said, listen, man, if I get rid of Marino, I'm going to get lynched in this town. So basically, Jimmy said, I need control.
I think the Marino-Johnson thing is part of it. I don't think there's any question about that. They despise each other. Well, what's the future with the two of them being here together? And like you said, Marino's not going anywhere.
And Jimmy ran Shula out of town. About that, you're right.
He set him up. He set him up big time. Gets on the Fox thing there, and the Dolphins are a Super Bowl contender. I mean, we were talking about it at the time. You could see it coming. He should have held up a sign saying, I'm setting you up, Don. You better win it, baby, or you're out. And he didn't win it, and he's out.
I was very unfair with it to Don. I mean, Don didn't want to get out. I know Don was going to stay there and had plans for the next season, and all of a sudden Don's quitting,
I got to look for something else to do.
Yeah.
So,
okay, pal, have a great day. We'll get over it. What did Shula say?
I got to look for something else to do.
2 open lines a day at 567-0560 and pound 560 on the mobile one. So we got one guy that Shula's coming back for 2 years. Anybody believe that?
No.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. And then we got the Dan LeBastard who thinks that maybe Danny's going to sign a long-term contract. They're going to bring him out there in a wheelchair for a couple of years. Because basically Danny is an emotional cripple. So, Danny LeBastard, that is. Here's a mobile in Jupiter. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
I was a Jimmy fan when he was a Canes coach, but I didn't like the way he displaced Shula either. However, I hate to see him go because
now did you like him when he was doing the gangster coach routine at U of M?
Well, he did a good job. He did a good job.
But he did a good job of winning games, but I think that, it's your opinion.
Now we have to take 2 steps back, before we can go forward. So.
Well, how do you know that?
Well, the new coaches come in. That's why I think for continuity, we need to get down on our knees and beg for Shula to come back, too.
You think so, too, huh?
I do,
You want the Shoesmeister back.
He never had a defense to play with. Now he could come back, have a defense,
honey.
Get the offense going again.
Thanks, honey.
And it would be great.
Okay.
Because...
we'll get him on the phone. We'll get the Shoemeister on the phone and see what he has to say.
I just wasn't conscious.
We have an open line in Broward, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the mobile one line. Maybe that's why the last few years that, the Shoemeister looked like he was losing it. We started calling him the brainstem. Maybe it was...
I just wasn't conscious.
That might have been part of the problem, but you never know. Here's North Miami. Hello.
How's it going, Neil?
Great. Never been better, sir. I'm happy to survive this.
Right. I've called a few of the sports stations with a couple of questions, and they've dodged these questions. But I want to propose this to you. When Shula was the head coach,
to me? I don't know you that well.
Okay.
When Shula was the head coach, they
played a game against San Diego. The Dolphins did, where they had a chance to go to the Super Bowl, and they lost that game. During the game, the defense held the offense to 3 punts, meaning that San Diego punted the ball 3 times.
Yeah.
And Miami's offense didn't do anything with those 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
And you know, Oliver Dottie then finally got shysted out of town, and you know, the defense was supposedly so terrible.
What's the point?
So my point is why didn't Jimmy, when he first get here, the defense wasn't all that bad. Why didn't he draft offensive linemen so he could run the ball? And that's the question I've been asking these, you know, sportscasters. Why didn't they draft offensive linemen? I mean, you know, that's all Jimmy has done is drafted defense for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And the defense wasn't that bad. I mean, if the defense punts the ball, if the opposing offense has to punt the ball, and our offense cannot capitalize on that.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't take a...
This is way over the borderline for my show. I can't deal with it. It's starting to sound like one of those sports shows. Now, Hank is going to talk to me on where?
He's on the other line.
Oh, Hank, what's going on? Are you in Vegas?
Yes, I am, Neil.
7:35 in the morning in Vegas?
It's old dark 100 here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you that...
Are you just coming in or going out?
That's a good question. This Jimmy Johnson thing is occupying too much of my time. Do you know you can play war out here now?
Yeah.
Do you remember the game?
I think that's what they're going to be doing at the MGM with the Tyson fight on Saturday. They're going to be playing war.
That's right. I'm out of there fast.
Can you believe they're bringing that back?
That Tyson thing?
Right, after what happened there the last time?
This deal has been signed for over a year.
Incredible.
I had, I was in New York last year at the Belmont, I had dinner with one of the promoters who was doing a fight that was canceled in New York, and he said that this was all set. So, and I think they had a couple of fights with him left.
And all the stuff in between was just window dressing, all the show they put on.
Yep.
So
anyway, I've got news for you.
Okay.
No press conference. Okay, I won't play one, honest. Jimmy is going to stay.
No, I'm playing the. Oh, he's going to stay?
They had a meeting this morning. Wayne flew back from San Diego.
Yeah.
And they met this morning along with Dan Marino. Jimmy, from what I'm told, is going to stay on. Dave Wannstedt will be assistant head coach.
Yeah.
And he's going to get married. Those are the 3 things.
How do you like that?
So,
all right.
My testicles reach out from Las Vegas into the Dolphins' office. It's amazing, isn't it?
Incredible. Boy, I'm really jealous now. Okay, listen, plunge your brains out. Have a great time, Hank.
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt you with a sports thing, but, you know, I thought...
Hey, listen, like, there's anything else going on here today? This is the talk of the town. Thanks a lot, Hank.
I'll play the red for you, Neil.
Okay.
All right.
10 million on the red. Okay, Hank Goldberg right there with shocking news, as usual. He's got, like he said, his testicles reach all across the U.S. of A. Jimmy Johnson is going to announce he's not going to quit, and Dave Wannstedt will be an assistant coach, and life will go on. And then all you people that are sitting in here trashing him, and good riddance to Bad Roberts, etc. What are you going to say then? Do you have any idea?
No.
How do you like that? Wow. So I guess Danny just sat down and stopped doing that dance. 20 before 11 at 560 WQM, and of course on CNN. If this is true, what Tank just told us, I mean, every one of these guys on CNN and Peter King and all these other guys, they're going to have egg on their foot and maybe even some on their rectum because they got the answer, baby. He's out. Maybe he read Dan LeBastard's column.
Need some help.
Well, you know, Jim, Marion thinks I'm at team practice today, and I just thought we'd steal a few fine moments of time together.
Come on in and lay down on my couch.
Well, that's a fine idea. Don't mind if I do. By the way, what is that you're wearing anyway?
Pasties and a G-string.
Well, you look just fine. Now, why don't you get over here and make me feel like a man?
All right!
Now, take it easy, man, and calm down. I'm tender, you know.
I'm going to start on this theme, and I'm going to rap on it all year long.
Cut that out. Now, man, I told you to take it easy. Now, get off of me, you bitch. You turd brown-noser.
You jackass.
Well, I've had about enough of this. I'm out of here.
for you will always be.
Well, so the warmer side, yeah, it really is. It is, Mad Dog. Look at this board now. You notice how they all flew away? You want to know why? Because now Hank has put them in there. They're between a rock and a hard place. See, they don't know whether to go on the attack like a lot of these people. And won't it be interesting if Hank's information is true? And I'm sure it must be, because he sure wouldn't have called us with that if he didn't have it right down to all the I's dotted and T's crossed. Wouldn't that be something, huh? And just shock the living crap. And all these people, these front-running phonies who are just waiting in the wings to attack. Oh, he's a gutless coward and he's a piece of crap and this is what we expected. What are they going to say then? Which is why most of the callers who were on there dropped off after Hank came on with that scoop. And, of course, in a few minutes, at 11 o'clock or thereabouts, when Jimmy Johnson makes the press conference, we'll find out if Hank is right, and I have no doubts that he is. What are they going to say then? Oh, well, we may be a little hard. We judged him a little prematurely. He had him on the right road. They improved the record one more win every year, and yada, yada, yada. And all you need to do is goose up the offense. The defense is good. You mark my words. That's what's going to happen. You talk about fickle people. So, in other words, if he had resigned, I mean, like I said before, I wouldn't blame him. I was never a big fan of his one way or the other. But if he wanted to say, hey, to hell with this crap, I wouldn't blame him for that. Because these people are so fickle, it's unbelievable. It's just incredible. They demand and expect nothing but perfection. Anything less, forget it. They'll fart right in your face. So now let's see what the story is, what these people have got to say. 2 open lines in Dade, 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Sunrise. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Well, now, you never know, Neil. He might leave now with everything you heard from this morning team.
No, I don't think he was listening to the worst team. I think he had a bigger fish to fry this morning.
Hey, you know what I was thinking
about the future of his life?
You think maybe him resigning had anything to do with Dolphin Denny leaving?
that might be it. Yeah. Well, he's obviously not going to resign.
Well, I hope Hank is he's right.
Well, you don't think that Hank is going to call here and come up with that information if he doesn't have it 100% nailed down?
Especially get up early, too.
It's 7:30 in Vegas. In fact, Hank is on ESPN right now. Hold on a second. Pot up the ESPN.
Today, I think 3 years and 3 days. Jimmy had a plan to take the team to the Super Bowl. Obviously, they've come up short. Was that the gist of it? Was there something behind Dan Marino's situation?
I think that might have been a part of it, but he had a 3-year contract when he first came with an option, and then last year they extended that by another year. So he actually had 1 year to go. And I don't know what other extensions have been applied or anything like that. But in the last few weeks, Jimmy has grown increasingly disgusted with a lot of things about coaching. One, he's very concerned about free agents and not getting much out of them, and he's been talking to a lot of people about that. The other is that he has not been happy with the South Florida media and the way they've been reporting a lot of things that he's been involved with, particularly when Dan Marino had his 400th touchdown pass and Jimmy didn't give him the accolades in his post-game press conference, and then the newspapers and radio shows went after him for that. He was very unhappy about that, in fact, very disgusted about that. And the third thing was, on the day when the 5 coaches were fired, that Monday, I talked to him right after that, and he was pretty upset. He thought 5 really good coaches had lost their jobs, and he started thinking very hard about the profession. So I think a lot of those things, plus his mother's death and the fact that his father was not dealing with that very well, had brought him a little closer to his family. All those factors, I think, came to play, and so Jimmy walked into Eddie Jones, the club president's office yesterday, and said that he wanted to quit. And that's when they summoned Lane, and of course they had the meeting this morning. But he said he wanted to quit. He had not really technically resigned, and so I think that when it was reported that he was leaving, it was just a few hours premature.
Now, Hank, there is the talk that Dan Marino is working on a contract extension with the Dolphins management. How is the relationship, at least according to your know-how, between Marino and Jimmy Johnson? Is Jimmy Johnson still firmly behind Dan Marino coming back as the starter? Would that have anything to do with it?
I think he is. On the other hand, there were times during the season where they didn't speak very much. So, it's been somewhat rockier than perhaps either side has let on. But the last month of the year, Jimmy really felt strongly about how well Dan had played, and he was pretty vocal about that. So they started talking about extending Dan for two reasons. One, based on the fact that he felt so good at the end of this year, that I think he has one more year on his contract. They're talking about extending it into the year 2001, and that accomplishes two things. It frees up some cap room, and it also is a commitment to Dan to be the starting quarterback for at least another couple of years.
Well, now, Hank, we all know Jimmy Johnson is a proud man, to say the least. Now, this has got to be eating him up to look across and see Dan Reeves coming in and turn things around. He had personnel control. Bill Parcells turning things around. He had personnel control. Jimmy's got all that, yet he's still struggling.
Well, he's very encouraged about this football team, which is why I was a little bit surprised to hear that he wanted to leave it. I do his radio show with him, and after the last show, I asked him, and this was before the Denver game, if he felt that he was taking a better team to Denver than he took to New England a year ago, and he said much better, although this team was very banged up, and he said that if you took away the injuries, he felt real good about his team, of course, the defensive side of it, and that he would not really address the defensive side during this off season, that all the focus would be on improving the offense, to get a game-breaking receiver, to get a big back who could catch the ball, and maybe one more mean offensive lineman. And that's the direction that they'll go. They have about $4 million in cap room right now, depending on what happens with Richmond and Webb. They're all pro tackle who they have to sign, but they've signed just about everybody they want to keep.
Okay, well, clearly much like my...
So anyway, they're announcing now, isn't this interesting? They're putting the crawl on the screen on ESPN that they've learned that Jimmy Johnson is going to stay with the Dolphins, and former Bears head coach Dave Wannstedt will come on board as an assistant coach, and yada, yada, and there you are. Thanks, Hank. Thank God for Hank.
Hey, stupid!
Yeah. So like he said there, and he was very kind there in his comments on ESPN, just maybe the rest of the media a little premature evaluation, and everybody getting sucked into that, because he said he wanted to quit, but it wasn't official yet. So there we are on the front page of the Herald this morning. Front page of the Sun Sentinel this morning. The worst team, psychotic all morning long. As opposed to like waiting till 11 o'clock and seeing what he had to say, like maybe he is and maybe he won't. Oh, we don't want to do that, do we?
No.
Wait to see what he really has to say and if he really is going to resign. No, right away, you get a little piece of material, which again shows you the great responsibility of the print media in this town. They are so incredibly consistent. You name it and they can get it wrong. The time of day they could get wrong. Whatever time it is when they put that rag of theirs out, they could get that wrong. On the masthead, they could get the day of the week wrong, whatever the issue is they're putting out that day, because there's nothing ever been invented that they couldn't get wrong in the Herald and the Sun Sentinel. So leave it to Hank. Nice going, Hank, baby.
Oh!
In spite of those stupid press conferences. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing? Julio calling from Miami.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, you were at the game last night. I know you didn't get to watch Larry Flint. I think it was on 2020.
Oh, yeah?
It was pretty funny. Sam Donaldson... They're asking him if he thinks he's doing a good job.
Sam Donaldson?
He's an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, he's asking. I don't think he's doing such a good job. I mean, in my opinion, I think Larry Flint's voicing most of our opinion, which is what's going on here and should it be going on.
Right.
And he's just bringing them down. Can I say hi to a couple friends?
Sure.
Larry Scotty, douchebag.
Okay, have a great day. Also, I missed Larry Flint. Well, the hockey game was pretty damn entertaining anyway. We have an open line in Dade 1 in Broward. We're just minutes away from Jimmy Johnson's press conference, but now it's kind of anticlimactic. He's staying. And you heard it here first. Thanks for Hank calling us first, by the way, and then going on ESPN. We had it first in the universe. How do you like that, Barry Jackass? Okay, you little pudwhacker over there at the Herald, with your newspaper got this all wrong as usual, just like you got Don Smiley is buying the Marlins, and yesterday John Henry made it official and the sale is complete to John Henry. Even though on the front page of both our local newspapers, day after day, week after week, front page of the front section, how many times did we read, Don Smiley deal is all set to go. It's like right on the verge. He's right on the edge. He's just about ready to...
Scored.
Yeah. And did he ever...
Scored.
No, he did not.
No.
So just consistently, when you're dealing with a bunch of little leaguers like Barry Jackass and Dan LeBastard and all these other guys, although maybe we ought to give Dan LeBastard some credit. Maybe that tearful plea of like a 5-year-old emotional cripple there in the paper this morning might have influenced Jimmy. You think so?
No.
No, I don't either. 10:54. We better do the break early because God only knows we don't want to miss a word of this, even though it's, like I said, going to be a little anticlimactic. And won't it be interesting now? Now I will be listening. Hank will be on, by the way, from Vegas this afternoon from 2 to 6. He's out there for the Mike Tyson to Dumbo fight Saturday. And then we got Booster from 6 o'clock to 6:30. Panthers at Carolina, a very big game coming up tonight. And like I said, we'll be keeping our ears peeled to see if we hear anything about the Pavel Bure deal with Vancouver, because there looks like there might be a good chance Pavel Bure is coming to the Panthers. Oh! God. That would make it worth like driving the 10 blocks to go down there.
Oh, God, Neil.
What's Gary Hart doing tonight?
Inquiring minds want to know.
That's why inquiring minds read the Miami Herald. Is Maurice Ferre really having sex with an alien from outer space?
It's in the Herald.
Is Paula Hawkins the true mother of the Elephant Man?
It's in the Herald.
Is John Kennedy sleeping with Max Headroom?
It's in the Herald.
Is Jim Baker about to give birth to Jerry Falwell's baby?
It's in the Herald.
Sex, 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 more hot sex.
Oh, it's in the Herald.
Plus, Gary Hart's amazing rice diet from Florida. A crossword puzzle that has no answers. Our own Pulitzer Prizes just for us.
And Pope's love letters to Neil Rogers.
And we're so sorry, Uncle Albert, but we haven't heard a bloody thing all day. Mindless, babbling rhetoric.
It's all in the latest issue of
the Miami Herald. Available at supermarket checkout counters everywhere. And where finer manure is spread.
10:59 is they get it wrong one more time, okay? But that's not the end. They'll be getting it wrong until they stop printing that rag forever and ever and ever, until maybe the day will come when they have a real newspaper in this town. But don't hold your breath. So if you just tune in and you're waiting for Jimmy Johnson's press conference at which you think he's going to resign, guess what? Is he going to resign?
No.
Hank Goldberg called us about 20 minutes ago, broke the story, as he usually does. I mean, you know, the bottom line to it is if you want to know what's going on in sports in this town, listen to Hank, because he's the one guy who talks to all of these people, who knows the people, talks to the people involved, as opposed to just sitting down and talking off the top of his head through his ass, which so many of the people in this town do, not to mention any names or not to mention any sports writers. Just unbelievably embarrassing. So we decided how we're going to do this, by the way. I just mentioned that in passing. And let me say it again. Thank God to Jeff Cohen and our satellite TV people, because that's the only reason we got this stuff up here. It's a year and 2 weeks that we've been here on this radio station. And thank God to them that we have some contact with the outside world so that we can put that stuff on there.
So in answer to your question?
Yes?
No.
Oh, so another day. They haven't even bothered. Okay, that's great. Nice going there, Duff. You're the best, baby. So anyway, we can pot it up here because it's right on ESPN. In fact, just pot it up right now because they're going to go into the thing. George, just pot it up right now. What is that? What is that? What channel are you on? Next 207?
Yeah.
Then how come I see the guy's lips on this thing?
Not the two, though.
Oh, in other words, they're having technical. Don't blame us, folks. Don't get panicky. ESPN News special report. Jimmy Johnson, he's sticking around, but they're having music in the guy's lips. He looks like Senior Wences. Thought I.
We could do better filler music than this.
Yeah, right. This is pretty weak music. So they're having a little bit of a problem, are they? Technical problem on ESPN? Oh, great. What a bunch of losers. How about maybe ESPN? Okay, well, we'll have to switch around here and find what the hell is going on. Now, they're busy talking about unimportant stuff like the impeachment trial of the president. Nobody cares about that. How about regular ESPN? Are they on top of this?
Ago, but Jimmy has.
That's great, but we already heard what Hank has to say. We want to hear when Jimmy. I guess what we'll do is we'll stick with ESPN and see if they can make maybe contact. This is amazing. This is unbelievable. All the ESPN ones, 206, 207, 208 on the DirecTV, they've all got the same thing on there. Jimmy Johnson in Miami, there's the Dolphin logo, and all these phonies who've been stabbing in the back. By the way, you're not going to be allowed in the stadium anymore. How do you like that? We've been tracing all the calls, all these people that said he was gutless and spineless and he abandoned them and he was a piece of crap. You're out. So people are looking for season tickets now, and they're going to be extending his contract, and they're bringing in Dave Wannstedt. Headlight goes on. So how do you like that? For a good old shot in the old rectum. How do you like it, huh? What is that, George? What is it you're doing? This radio station is amazing to me. I mean, you talk about having absolutely no game plan, no concept, no. Where is the press conference being held? Do we have somebody there?
No.
Do we have somebody down there with a QAM microphone? Every time I see these things on TV, I see a QAM logo on a microphone. Maybe it's just a prop. Maybe we don't really have somebody there. Maybe we pay somebody $5. I doubt that. Like I said, maybe we pay somebody $1.50 to go down there and put the QM logo on their microphone. But at any rate, Hank is pontificating and going on at great lengths about this thing. And as soon as Jimmy steps up there he is. There's Jimmy going ballistic on the sidelines, tearing the headsets off, screaming and yelling and jumping up.
Rumor is 12:30.
What is it?
12:30 is the latest rumor from Duff.
12:30?
And yes, we do have someone out there.
12:30?
12:30.
Are you sure?
Well, that messes up all our plans. Just like Tessio said in The Godfather, that messes up all my plans. Remember that? Can you get me off the hook, Tom? For old time's sake.
No.
Can't do it, Sally. 12:30, and we were going to have an early lunch here. Thank God I took my Adalat. Oh, by the way, Dr. Mark showed up at the hockey game last night, and he's looked at my neck and said, oh, yeah, that's pretty interesting, that red thing. That's interesting. He felt my neck, and it was hot. He said, don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Don't worry. It's nothing. Could be one of many, many things. It's nothing. You'll be fine. I said, you know, Dr. Mark, they're going to put it on my tombstone. They're going to put it on my tombstone. You'll be fine, is what they're going to put on there. Quote, Mark Laporta. He's a great guy, but he looks at you. He feels, yeah, it's hot. It's flush. You're fine. And I'm pretty damn sure it wasn't the Adalat, but my blood pressure, George is puking in there watching me taking my blood pressure 80 times this morning. I'm really not in the mood to have another stroke just to prove a point for that lady with the Adalat. So I'd rather have the flush and still be alive would be good. Speaking of, wait a minute. Speaking of flush, here's Guitar Man.
I am me, Scott the Dolphins, a mother-choking team. They play like it's time to quit. They play like and queens. They suck, they blow, out of control. Now JJ's gonna bail. So call up Wayne, that f***ing pain, and say we want Shula back. Oi, oi, oi. Bring back the brainstem. Bring back the brainstem. Bring back the brainstem in the bell jar with the tubes and the wires and bubbles, and stick it in an orange golf cart.
Rectum.
An orange and peel golf cart. And drive the whole goddamn punch right off the cliff.
All right. Oh, man, that was emotional. Beautiful. Well done. But he's not bailing out his thing. Here's Bill Parcells on there, the head coach of the New York
I guess
Jets.
for argument's sake, let's say he is through, which means the numbers will read like this. 13 years.
What channel are you on? We're just all over the place. Are you on 207? I mean,
yeah, I thought it was.
Huh? Bill Parcells' lips were moving, and they were showing him. Oh, there's Michael Jordan again. Get rid of him. Are you on 208, 207? Look at that. They're having all kinds of audio problems on ESPN News. Forget about it. Don't put them on anymore until Jimmy comes on, which now we're hearing about 12:30, which is absolutely unacceptable. He screwed up all our plans. Well, guess what? We're still going to get lunch now. How do you like that? Call up our good friend Chuck, if you will. Give me my regular. Get our Nisi balls in here. And let's just have a little party, because Jimmy's staying. Always told you I love Jimmy. Anybody believe that?
No.
I mean, like I said, I don't really care one way or the other. It's not no sweat off my ass. But he's not leaving, and Wayne came flying in a hurry and said, don't be doing this because, my zits are starting to pop all over the place, and cut the crap. And whatever you want, Jimmy, you got it. And we might even actually spend some more money so we don't have to be the farthest under the cap of any other team in the league. We might actually spring loose with a few bucks now that he dumped the Marlins. Here's South Miami. Hello.
Hey, Uncle Neil, how are you, sir?
Great.
Going to change the subject briefly here. Got a memo, took my daughter to school this morning and got a memo they were passing out, and I need to read it to you because it's pretty important, and I couldn't fax it to you. I don't have a fax machine. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, it says, be aware and use caution in large letters. A police officer working with the DARE program has issued this warning. The DARE program are the police officers that work in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
If you are driving after dark...
The snitch police, right.
Right. If you are driving after dark and see an oncoming car with no headlights on, in large letters, do not flash your lights at them. This is a common gang member initiation game. The new gang member under initiation drives along with no headlights, and the first car to flash its light at him is now his target.
Yeah.
He is now required to turn around and chase that car and shoot at or into that car in order to complete his initiation requirements.
Oh, my God.
Make sure you share this information with your friends and all the drivers in your family, and also Neil Rogers listeners.
How do you like that?
You believe that?
Well, isn't that great news to know? So, in other words, mind your own business, and if you know what's good for you.
Unbelievable.
Excellent.
Anyway, have a good one.
All right, sports fans.
Thanks for the good news. And we'll see you, I hope. Don't flash it. I guess that's a message we should all be learning, right, Bubba? Don't flash it. We have an open line in Dade, 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. Look at that. Bill Parcells having a press conference in Hempstead, Long Island, New York. Are we going to put that on? No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. Too many goddamn press conferences with too many people with jock straps. And like I said, a lot of stuff that has got nothing to do with us which I find terminal and just an insult to my intelligence as a thinking, feeble human being.
By the way, that was a big fat fake memo.
What is that?
Old fake memo. What that guy called up with the flashing lights.
How do you know that?
Somebody just called and said so.
Oh. Okay, so you can either believe that it was a fake memo, or you can believe that it was for real and govern yourselves accordingly, whichever you prefer. But it was rather interesting in this slaughterhouse in which we live. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello. Mobile in Fort Lauderdale. I hear you puking, but you're not. I don't hear you saying anything. Going once.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
This message is for Dan LaBasta, Monica this morning.
Yeah?
It puts the lotion in the bastard.
Okay, thank you. It puts the lotion in the bastard. All right. Oh! I love it. And believe me, it seems like he needs some, yeah? Or maybe some baby powder would be good. On his rectum. That would be good for little Dan LaBastard. So now you don't have to cry, Danny. Oh, boy. The two Dannys are going in different directions. Danny Marino, he's crying. He's pissed off, I bet, and fired up. And Danny LaBastard, he's like peeing in his pants. He's probably tapping all over himself. He's so happy now that Jimmy's staying. Please, Jimmy, please, pretty please. What do we have to say? He's staying, Danny. Oh, yeah, but are you sure? Are you positive? Are you sure?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're sure. Hank told us, okay? Hank told the world. I'll tell you one thing. Hank Goldberg, sure, I mean, not that he needed to do that, because everybody already knows how he's got the inside with all these people, but boy, sure turned this town on its ass this morning, right here on his show, by the way. How do you like that, Barry Jackass, on the anti-sports show here on this radio station? Then we had Hank Goldberg live from Las Vegas at 7:37 a.m. Vegas time, which, again, I thank him profusely for straightening all of this out and getting the real information on here instead of just the rumor and innuendo and paranoia from our local media and some other people who easily get sucked in, not to mention any names. 9 minutes after 11 at 560 WQMD.
The media is sick and needs help badly.
Bill cigars in Monica's vagina. All right. She lets out a giggle when he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the behind, but a cigar in her vagina she don't mind. Well, he don't know where a stogie goes. I can see how there was some confusion between humidor and humid whore. And in Arkansas, the term cedar box means saw her naked. Stars report can lead to going blind.
Get down on your hands and knees and lick my...
Now Clinton, he was working hard, late nights in the ovary office, working on a practical joke. He took a Magnum noodle, put an exploding load in. Poor Monica was blowing rings of smoke. Bill cigars in Monica's vagina.
Holy cow!
She lets out a giggle every time he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the behind.
Rectum.
But a cigar in her vagina she don't mind.
Okay.
Oh, people feel that Hillary's been made a fool of by her husband. Feel that Hillary was wronged. Up in the Lincoln bedroom, she was moaning, moaning. Al Gore was doing her with Bill's old bong. Bill cigars in Monica's vagina. She lets out a giggle every friggin' time he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the behind. But a cigar in her vagina she don't mind. Oh, Candy, you stand. Yeah, Dutch Master is faster. Oh, yeah. What you gotta do is take a Tipperillo and put it in a brick. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, now a cigar in her watch, yeah.
Okay, 11:16 at 560 WQM. That, by the way, is going on. I know there's not too many people in this town interested in that, the Senate impeachment trial of your president, but that's not important anymore, is it?
No.
I didn't think so. Anyway, here's a fax that says the gang initiation memo about shooting the person who flashes their lights at them is a hoax. It's been an urban myth for about 8 years, on and off. So there you go. It's a hit and myth. Also, here's a fax from one of our chronic attorney faxers who says, I thought it was good of Peter to send you the fax from New Haven. Do you understand what that means, by the way? I don't get that. But at any rate, are you aware that Denise Potman missed last night? Are you aware of that?
Uh-huh.
And is missing tonight due to the flu?
Uh-huh.
Rimmer said he's got the same thing Victor Kozlov had, and that they must have had dinner together on the road, or something together. Is that what Rimmer said? They must have had something together?
Uh-huh.
They must have eaten.
Uh-huh.
Finally, it says, wait till you see the Rimmer Randy I used to play at Madison Square Gardens. It was Whitney's goal number 12 combo tonight. You'll swear you're watching public access. It says, oh, my God. Are you saying that Rimmer and Randy Moeller weren't great on that? My two good friends weren't great last night?
They stunk.
No, I heard that. Come on. It's going to be a big improvement over that Denise Potman, that frog. We hope the frog gets better soon, don't we?
No.
We certainly hope it's nothing serious, like my, hot skin in my neck, which, I did take my Adelaide, by the way, Doc, just in case you're listening, and I'm not really too crazy about 154/95 for blood pressure, like early in the show, because I would like to stay alive. Yes, I do monitor these things very carefully, and even my doctor or anybody else, do I take their word for anything?
No.
I make sure I check out what's going on, just to be, on the safe side.
Don't forget we got this Dateline guy's number to give out.
Oh, that's right. We got the Dateline guy.
Well,
the guy that wants a date. He's not on Dateline. He just would like a date, evidently, from all you guys out there. This guy is a new chronic, and of course these guys don't understand. They're pretty damn stupid. What's his phone number?
954.
954. This is a guy who evidently is in a closet and keeps calling here faggot, and with all kinds of stuff for me and George and anybody else he might talk to. So evidently he's a closet guy who's really afraid to come out, but is desperately looking for companionship, probably of the male variety. What's his number?
And he talks like this.
Oh, he talks like this? Maybe he's got something in his mouth.
792.
954-792.
7597.
7597. 954-792.
He's big into anal, by the way.
He's what?
Rectum? Yeah.
What'd you say?
He's an asshole.
Oh, well, obviously. 954-792-7597. Probably somebody that works at the Herald of the Sun Sentinel, I would think, huh? Maybe that's the problem. Because, first of all, he works there.
He's an asshole.
Probably, because, Howard Kleinberg is a good guy. And I used to like Bob Rubin, too, before he pretended writing about hockey. But other than that, there's a few good people that work in those two newspapers. Tom Jekke, he's okay. Huh? Once in a while, Tom is a pretty good guy. He's like on our side sometimes.
He's stupid!
But other than that, he's okay. So the press conference, again, if you're tuning in, probably a lot of people gnashing their teeth and really pissed off. That's probably, you know who that probably was? That probably was Peter, by the way. No, seriously. That must have been illiterate Peter the faxer that called you from 954-792-7597. Maybe he was looking for Peter, from the sound of it. Press conference at 12:30 or thereabouts. See, I have a feeling that what originally happened is that he was thinking about resigning. They set it up. He was going to have the thing at 11 o'clock this morning. That's what they alerted the media to. And then after he and Baldy chatted this morning, and they, got everything ironed out, they have to push it back a little because now he's got to change the whole deal. Instead of goodbye, he's going to say hello and, hey, you love me, and if you don't, too bad because I'm not going anywhere. And put away the stale salami sandwich because I'm not getting on the bus. Here's a mobile in Miramar. Hello.
Hey, good morning.
Good evening.
Before I get to what I really wanted to talk about,
before you get to the good stuff, yes?
Yeah, before I get to the important stuff, you said something about Dave Wannstedt. Could you
He's going to be assistant head coach.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's one thing.
It was widely rumored that they wanted him desperately, and he's coming.
Okay, that's what I thought. It might be that Jimmy was going to stay as general manager, and Dave Wannstedt might take over as head coach.
No.
I guess that's not it. Okay,
well,
but on
Jimmy's
the
going
other
to still be
thing.
head coach, and they're extending his contract.
Oh, okay. Well, good job for you guys to get on the story.
Great job for Hank.
Yeah, for Hank especially. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about is how can the Senate save face at this point? I don't understand. They can't impeach him, or they'll lose in 2000 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So what do they do at this point?
I have no idea.
They're
I
in the
haven't
room
got
right
the
now.
foggiest idea.
I'd love
And
to be.
especially with Larry Flint wheeling his chair around and threatening these 8 other right-wing Republicans. You got to know that they're they're caught between a rock and a hard place because they're caught between the fanatical House Republicans, who are like, the Bob Barrs, and of course they already got him, and Tom DeLays, and I think they're going to get him, and all these guys. They're caught between them and this buzzsaw of them being the next one to be outed.
It's Exactly. And the way I look at it,
they're kind of like caught in the meat grinder. That's a bad expression to use in light of what happened a couple of days ago here, but they're kind of like caught in the grinder.
Exactly, but I mean, as far as the Democrats go, I don't see how they're going to lose in this situation.
Yeah.
And I'm Republican, but I'm a little bit embarrassed being one at this point.
It is embarrassing.
You know, it's like.
I mean, it's obvious. I mean, you can. It's like dog crap. You can put ketchup on it. You can doll it up. You can call it a different name. No matter what you do to it, it's still dog crap. And they're taking stuff. I mean, I don't care how many pages of information they have. 80 million pages of information. The fact is that the public. We saw Clinton. We saw the grand jury testimony. We saw that verbatim. Then they put the Paula Jones testimony on here. And each time they put this stuff on there, there's this is the stuff that's really going to turn the public opinion polls against him, and this is what's really going to be. And it never worked. And they just keep trying and falling on their ass.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. They keep putting the same information out and trying to portray it in a different light. But
right.
The whole thing is
they keep putting something different on the dog crap, but something that's still a pile of crap.
Right. Nobody gives a shot about it at all. You know?
Right.
But in closing, I have something for Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
He puts the hairspray in the basket.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we better do something about Jimmy's due, okay? He's going to be staying here, and everybody is pretty excited about that.
He keeps calling, by the way.
Who's that? The jackass? The jackass from 792-7597. Well, maybe he's not getting enough calls from people out there that want to have a date with him, okay? From this jackass. Pathetic. And, of course, you do know what happens after we give the number out, and that don't stop it. Then we move on like the guy that who don't have the phone anymore. Open line in Dayton, 1 in Broward, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Real interesting to watch the way that the whole tone of this community has changed when they got caught with their pantaloonies down. He's a quitter. I mean, all I heard this morning, basically, I did hear one or two guys who must have been related. Maybe it was Dan LeBaster doing a voice almost in tears. Please, Jimmy, don't do it. I'm upset. I'm sorry. But other than that, I mean, boy, the knives and the weapons came out. You can talk about fickle, two-faced LeBasters in this town. Man, they were ready to just put up a big cross there right in the middle of goddamn PP Park and, crucify the guy. Let's have a goddamn lynch mob. They're doing one up there in Washington with the president. Let's have a lynching here at Jimmy. And now Hank comes on here about 45 minutes ago and reveals the news that, guess what, he's not leaving and they ironed out their problems, him and Baldy, and he's staying and they extended the contract. They're bringing in Dave Wannstedt. And now it's like all of a sudden those people all vanished. They disappeared. They put on the vanishing cream like Ray Milland. They're all gone. Where are they? Does anybody know where they are?
No.
Vanished.
No.
Here's a mobile in North Miami. Hello.
Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering if I could get your opinion on something.
Yes.
Don't you think that all of the firings and the quittings like Jordan and Jimmy Johnson are just manufactured ploys by the media to get interest in something that people just don't care about anymore, like the NBA? Who would have cared about it if Jordan wouldn't have quit? And the Dolphins, I mean, they're
but wait a minute. The Jordan quitting doesn't help the NBA. It makes it 100 times worse. Doesn't it?
But people are talking about it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and the Johnson thing. I mean, I was already not that I really cared about the Dolphins anymore, but I'm actually kind of interested in the same way that you're interested in a car crash about the Dolphins now because they're like wounded.
Yeah, but this is not some kind of publicity stunt. I believe absolutely that he was going to resign, or that he certainly intended until he talked to Wayne this morning, and now whatever they discussed, he's staying. But you're right. The media milks this stuff just like right now. I mean, you got to understand when you've got a 24-hour sports network or a 24-hour news network, it takes a lot of crap to fill up all that time. You got to have nonstop crap. And believe me, they give it to them.
Great. Well, thanks for your opinion, and keep repeating that number over and over again.
Okay. Have a great day. You're still having conversations with our retard out there, is that it?
Oh yeah.
Because I hear some of it through the window. And my suggestion is,
please don't say the F word.
But anyway,
hostile. So he must
about what?
Any good
hostile about what?
About people calling him, I guess.
Well, why is that? I mean, he's looking for some companionship. I mean, we sure don't want to talk to him. Maybe there are people in the audience that want to speak to this guy, who's obviously got some very serious problems. At 954-792-7597, that keeps calling here over and over again and spewing obscenities and the vulgarities.
And already activated the call trace to the cops anyway. So.
Good. Excellent. Well, that'll be good. So he better talk to a lot of you folks today, because after that he might not be able to talk to anybody. See, it just always amazed me, having done this for about 500 years, just how these people really butch up behind the anonymity of the telephone. They really butch up, and even the most weaselly of pathetic individuals become real big macho guys behind the anonymity of that little thing in their hand, and the phone too. That little dark thing in their hand. 26 after 11 at 560 WQAM.
Baby, you melt my jockey shorts.
When you want to get wet on the internet, come bonanza. Lots of sex activity for perverts just like me. Pay back or let it crack, come bonanza.
All right.
Uncle Spooky and Dirty Dave have lots of things to see. Unbothered, cruising sight, munching all I need. Here's 4 girls and 3 chicks come bonanza. It's the best bet on the internet for the more you want to see. From bonanza, from bonanza.
11:30 at 560 WQAM. Dan LeBastard said, "Please, Jimmy, reconsider. Please stay." And Jimmy said, "Okay." And there you go. And about an hour from now, we'll be hearing a press conference right from Jimmy's lips into your ears. Well, I'd be really embarrassed, you know, if I were one of those big mouth assholes that were calling this radio station this morning. We had a couple of them on here, too, before Hank called in at about 10:40. If I were one of those assholes, oh, he's gutless, he's spineless, he's a coward, he turned tail and ran, he's a piece of crap, and we knew before he came, and just attacking this guy. See, it's always the way it is. Always. It's like in this business, you know, when they blow somebody out, after they leave, oh, they were always a piece of crap. It's like the Beezer. There's a good sports example for you. By the way, I hate to break the news to you, my good friend Jeff Rimmer and Brian Murray and all you other finger pointers down there at the Mac Arena. Maybe they're on their way to Carolina right now. Who knows? They got that game tonight. Hate to break the news to you. John Bad Beesbrook got another shutout last night. Oh! That's 4 in a row for Philadelphia, in which he's played 3.5 of them when Hextall got hurt in that one game. Over 212 minutes plus since Philadelphia's allowed a goal with a Beezer in the nets most of the way. But he was the reason the Panthers were bad last year, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's right. See, like I said, once somebody is gone, or you think they're going to be gone, then you stick it to him. You just stick the shiv in there, and you twist and you turn. He was a son of a bitch. He was no good. He was the reason for everybody else's problems, because he's gone. That doesn't take any talent. But only in this case, now you got a little bit of a problem. Because now, guess what? Jimmy ain't leaving.
Dan LeBastard's on Channel 6, but we can't get it.
So meaning what? Why do I want to see Dan LeBastard? What's he going to do?
He's puking and crying.
Why do I want to see Dan LeBastard? I don't want to see that jackass. And what does he care about Jimmy so much? Jimmy's not Cuban. Here's Miami Lakes. Hello.
There's a little different perspective.
Yes, sir.
I'm a Miami Dolphin hater and
Yeah.
a Jimmy hater. So when I heard that he was leaving, I was upset.
Yeah, you don't have anybody to hate. I understand.
I want him to stay here and suffer with those guys. They're not going anywhere for another 3 years.
Yeah.
So I'm glad
Possible.
he's staying, and the hell with him.
Okay. And
Oh.
thank you so much. Well, at least the guy's being honest. He's entitled. He enjoys. He's one of those people that hates. He loves hating Jimmy, and that's the way it is. Just like this show. There are a lot of people that are foaming at the mouth with the idea that I might ever leave here, in spite of what they might tell you. They're full of crap. They would puke. Now, did we get lunch, by the way, or is that like...
I'm working on it. They don't have a delivery person today. I'll tell you the details during the break. I got to find a runner.
Well, when did you find that out?
Recently.
Oh, this is not good, by the way, what's on here.
Uh-oh.
As in real bad. But I did take that about, hopefully it'll kick in one of these days. Bad idea, Dr. Mark, okay, as in 164 over 108? As in real bad? Real bad idea. 2 open lines in Dade, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil, I had a chuckle.
Yes, sir?
I had to pass with you. Jimmy wasn't over saying that he needed to spend more time with his dad. He kept saying, I need Dave Wannstedt.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good day, Neil.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there's the guy's grade A material. Thank you very much, sir. Open line in Broward, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in North Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil, what's up?
How you doing, sir?
Larry Flint's a big pud. Let me tell you why. How come he don't say nothing about no Democrats cheating and all that?
Because he's partisan. He already told you that. You've already got the Bob Barrs and the Ken Stars of the world doing that.
How much you think the White House is paying him?
I don't think the White House is paying him anything. How much do you think they're paying him?
I think they're either paying him or doing some kind of favors for him.
Now, is he also making up the stuff about Bob Barr and Bob Livingston? Is he just making it up?
Yeah, but what about all the Democrats doing the same thing?
No. What about all the finger pointers? The Democrats aren't the ones who are the finger pointers and the hypocrites. It's all these good Republicans. You just keep repeating the same thing over and over again like a stuck record because you're a silly partisan fool is what the problem is. You're a silly person. And no matter how many times I would repeat it, he'd keep repeating it. So is there any point on continuing? No. Of course not. I mean, I say, both parties, generally speaking, suck. It's only the Democrats are the buffer party. They prevent us from the right wing totally taking over. That's what they are around for. Thank God for that. But they're both flushing our tax money down the drain like it's going through a toilet, and have been doing it for years. But in the meantime, at least if you want to preserve any minimal amount of freedom, you just have to hope that the right-wing lunatics don't take control, which is exactly what they've been trying to do without even a bloodbath. Here's Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, this morning I was listening to the show, and they had a lot of Jimmy bashers,
Right.
And everybody...
They were ripping him a major...
Ripping him up, and everybody was saying... Spurrier.
In fact, I noticed Defoe was ripping him pretty good there this morning, too, as a matter. Oh, yeah, well, I did catch a little bit of that. They were talking about Spurrier coming down here, that bozo.
Yeah.
That dumb redneck.
And all he's good for is probably offense. I mean, what can he possibly bring to the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah.
But offense. And then what's going to happen to the defense?
He's an asshole. Yeah, he's a dumb bozo.
So I think for all those Jimmy bashers, I'm happy that he stayed. Now they can die in their pants.
Yeah, now they can stick it where the moon don't shine.
All right.
Okay, thanks a lot, pal.
Can't beat that gator meat.
Yeah, that's the perfect place up there in Gainesville for Steve Spurrier. That he fits in there like a rubber glove, just to keep him there, okay? I mean, we've already got enough, ill retardos running around this town without Steve Spurrier coming down here going, like we got plenty of those already. Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm 19 years old and I watch a lot of football, and I got this comment. I want to know if you have the same opinion I do. I used to look at Jimmy Johnson like a man who never quit. He used to have this hardcore style of, like defense, a hard man.
He was a hard man, yeah.
No, not a hard man, but you know what I mean.
That's what you just said. You said he's a hard man, which I'm
saying like a tough man. And now I see him like I don't know how can I put it. Like now he quits, and now he comes back like he's stuffing up on us.
But he did not quit. That you're.
But he's stuffing out on us. He had that mentality of quitting. He can't go now to a football player and tell him, "No, you can't quit." Nah. You see what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
Now he can't get to any player and tell him, "No, it's time for you."
But the fact
I want you to get out there and hit him.
The fact is, he didn't quit. There are a lot of people who have jobs, including yours truly, who have problems with their management or have falling out or what, and we don't know. We haven't heard from him yet. Whatever the reasons really might have been. And evidently he met with the owner, Baldy over there, and they got it straightened out. And okay, now he's staying, but he didn't quit. And you're just assuming that because everybody put in the newspaper and a bunch of losers were on there ranting and raving this morning on a talk show using their telephone as a weapon again, that makes him a loser. And believe me, I got no axe to grind one way or the other with Jimmy because, like I said before, he hasn't shown me a hell of a lot, but what the hell do I care? Because I don't have any really vested interest, and I don't bet on the games. 22 till noon. Let me tell you again, 12:30 press conference coming up. Hank will be on from Vegas from 2 to 6. He'll have all the inside. And again, spectacular job by Hank Goldberg. Let's give him the Employee of the Year award for that, of the century, for being the only one who had any idea what he was talking about.
Neil Rogers God.
New from the National Scientific Research Institute comes a product guaranteed to revolutionize the healthcare industry. The new and improved I Can't Believe It's Not an Enema. And now, from the President's Council on Health, actor Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yes, this product will clean your pooper like nobody's business. Excuse me, sir. May I demonstrate?
Who, me? Well, I really don't...
Shut up and bend over. Stop being a little girl.
Whoa, hey, get that... Hey. Oh, that feels great. What an enema.
It's not an enema. It's not an enema at all. It's new. I can't believe it's not an enema.
That's right. The brand new I Can't Believe It's Not an Enema. Now with cutting-edge leak-proof technology.
No mask, no fuss, no duty on your shoes.
Get yours today.
Okay, we will. It's 11:42 at 560 WQM. Let's see. It says, who knows what Jimmy's doing. Maybe he's a little busy like, what? Like Barney? Or maybe he's taking a dump like Barney. Okay, not too good. Tom over in Cape Coral. Nice try, but not too good. Anybody would let a family member get dragged through the mud like Mr. Clinton is a hypocrite, says whatever it is there. Anybody who would allow a family member get dragged through the mud like Mr. Clinton is a hypocrite. Which family member is getting dragged through? What does that mean? Does anybody know?
No.
He's talking about Clinton's brother. That could be it, huh? Rogers? And maybe he's talking about Roger Clinton, because we all know about him.
He's an asshole.
He's got some problems. Okay, so we're getting some incoherent faxes. They're crumbling now, okay, because they got caught with their pants down. Pressure's coming out a little bit, George. You see, the reason I need the food, like soon, like sometime in my lifetime, is because that would help tremendously. Plus, I'm glad I took the headlight. Bad move, Dr. Mark. Bad idea. Life-threatening idea, okay? And thank God I brought this to work with me, by the way, George, and the pill also. I mean, when you start messing around with blood pressure medication and you start making assumptions, well, it might do this, it'll only do that. Can't live my life that way. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes.
Last time I called you was about 8 years ago. I don't want to be a chronic, right?
Okay, I'll mark it down.
I just wanted to call because I heard that guy on earlier talking about the gang thing with the flash in the headlight.
Yeah.
It's bogus.
Yeah, we got a couple of faxes, a couple of calls.
Cool. Yeah, it's an urban legend. It's been going around for like 20 years.
Yeah.
All right, well, just want to call and tell you I love you.
You know something you can never, in this town, you can never be too sure.
I know. Tell me about it.
In fact, maybe some gang members heard about it. Maybe they're going to pick up on it. You never know.
Help Jimmy to go out and flash.
Right, there you go.
Be good.
Have a great day. We have an open line in Dade 5670560. Jimmy Johnson staying. Dave Wannstedt, assistant head coach for the Dolphins. Hank Goldberg broke the story an hour and some minutes ago right here on this show. And all the local media, of course, picking it up from us. From us. How do you like that? Are they going to give us credit for it?
No.
No, not any more than they give us credit for raising all that money for Center One or anything else we do. Just like every time Barry Jackass gets his information all wrong, which is every time he writes the first column and then listens to Hank and straightens it out, pretending that he got it like from inside sources, but all he did was pick it up from Hank and quotes chapter and verse. That's journalism in this town, boys and girls. I've been trying to tell you. I mean, some of you people think I exaggerate or I'm just trying to be funny. There is no journalism, whatever they call it, in this town. It's bogus. It's a joke. Got a bunch of putzes, a bunch of emotional cripples like Dan LeBastard, a bunch of little kids, a bunch of spiteful jackasses like Michael Holden Mayo. Wasn't bad enough that he got Dave Halberstam fired, but then he makes an all-out attack against Jimmy Johnson. Nice going there, Mike. I told you he was a loser. Here's a mobile in Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hey, hi, how you doing? I watch the show all the time.
You watch my show all the time?
Well, I watch it on Whammy, actually.
No, Whammy's history.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, I just want to comment on about the Jimmy Johnson thing.
Yeah.
All these bastards that call in and bash them. I mean, how do they feel right now? I mean, I can't understand.
I don't hear any more of them calling. All of a sudden,
I know.
They stopped like somebody that like a freight train ran over him.
I mean, I think he's one of the greatest coaches ever. I mean, it's a blessing to have him here. I mean, nobody wants to come coach here, but I mean, hey, he's great. And second thing about that urban legend thing about the car.
Yeah.
What it is now is a bunch of these gang idiots are doing it now because it happened in Hialeah about a week ago. They shot some lady on Northwest 122nd Street. They were doing that.
Yeah. She was flashing it?
Yeah, she was flashing her lights and they turned around and followed her and they shot her car up. And,
so there's a lesson for all you people out there. Don't flash it. I mean, whether it's a myth or not, just don't flash it.
Yeah, these idiots are
in the life leader. Okay, thanks a lot, pal.
Right.
Have a great day. We have an open line in Dade 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. They're flashing it. Here's a mobile in Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Yeah, hey, what's up? This is Dave. About the Jimmy Johnson thing?
Yes, sir.
I'm glad he's gone. Jimmy Johnson.
Hey, Dave, I hate to break the news to you, Dave. He ain't leaving.
He's out. He's going to stay?
Yes.
That's the final word?
Are you listening to your radio?
Well, I don't want to get too close because, I work, we don't get a radio. We're not that fortunate like Jimmy Johnson. If I had money like Jimmy Johnson, I wouldn't have to be working.
Yeah. He's not leaving, though.
Anyway,
let me say it again. They're extending his contract. Are you depressed about that?
All I have to say is this year it's JETS, baby, all the way.
Oh, okay, there you go. Another loser, another asshole, another Jets hole. Yeah, okay, whatever you say, pal. We're not interested in the Jets, people. This is not a sports show. I'm not interested in your childish juvenile. If you want to be childish, call up Dan LeBastard over at the Herald. Make a date with him, okay? But don't bother me with that crap. Open line at Dade, one in Broward. The tune is really changing here. It's very credible hearing Jet fans with their opinions on Jimmy Johnson. Do we care about them?
No.
Of course not. I don't care what the hell they think. That's pointless. Like all those chronic regular Jet fans calling the morning show this morning. That was really sad. Who cares about what they think? They don't have any credibility. This is not a topic that they have any input on. Let them stick with their own stuff up there. They got the great fatso up there. Let them stick with him. Okay, he's doing a great job for him. Butt out. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
Listen, I got a couple of comments. One is I did make a radio mistake this morning, and I listened to the first team.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I go in and out of the truck. I'm a serviceman, but some woman called up and said, I read the paper, and there's the end of life as I know it, because Jimmy Johnson was at that time was reporting that he was going to resign.
The end of life as she
knows it.
Wow. Holy crap.
I had to turn the radio off after that. And just one more thing about the Senate trial.
Wait a minute. What's that? That's on our line. That's on the ISDN. Are we still on the air, by the way? What the hell was that? Are we on?
What's this obsession with Hokies?
Well, Buffalo has a football team, the greatest in the land. And everybody thinks they're great, because they really are. The Buffalo Bills are the number one. See what I mean? So just sing along. When you say Miami, when you say Buffalo, and here's that Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills. They're the greatest team in the history of the human race. They're the Buffalo Bills. They're the greatest thing since sliced bread and canned beer. Yeah, there you go. And you jazz up that redneck stuff. They listen to that banjo. Holy sweet God, listen to that. When you say Buffalo Bills, it don't sound so rednecky, do it? Everybody sing along now. Are you Bill fans? Here we go. Well, the Buffalo Bills are the best team. They have the best record over the last 5 years. And they went to the Super Bowl 4 times, which is more than I can say for this scum-sucking fish. And they're the greatest, because I really like their uniforms. They sure as hell beat the heck out of having a fish on the helmet, because they're the Buffalo Bills. The best football team what I ever seen in the history of my life. They are the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, the home of Jim Kelly, the greatest quarterback in the league. Yeah, everybody, the Buffalo Bills. They're the Buffalo Bills, and they've been around longer than the stinking rotten fish. Well, they're the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills. What would you rather have as a pet, a buffalo or a fish?
Or maybe Dan Levaster, who could be a pet, like on a leash, like a little puppy dog, and probably would do a lot of that in the house, but you could probably paper train him. We have an open line at Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. I like what Jimmy Johnson's done so far.
Yeah.
Jimmy's got a defense, a Jimmy Johnson defense. He has an offense lacking a quarterback.
Well, lacking a quarterback?
Yeah.
Not lacking a running back or wide receivers.
No, you're lacking a quarterback. Can I explain to you?
No, of course not. You think I'm going to... This, first of all, this isn't a sports show. This is a special event in the community that transcends the ordinary stuff that we talk about. So naturally, we're going to spend a lot of time to create the press conference. But now, if you want to do the Marino bashing, do it on the other shows, because I won't listen to it. It's beneath my dignity to sit here and listen to your crap. Okay, sir? And like I've said before, this is just like the people who were calling in this morning bashing Jimmy Johnson, assuming that they knew what was going to happen. And now let's start bashing Dan Marino. Jimmy's going to stay now, so let's bash Dan Marino, who's only invested 16 years of his life in this town. Plus, besides playing the football, done a hell of a lot of great things for charity and is well-liked all over town by most people with a brain. But don't confuse people, okay? Don't waste your effort or your breath calling this show to knock Dan Marino. Yes, he's a statue. Yes, he can't run. And yes, he's no John Elway because he's immobile and got 2 bad knees. But still, without Dan Marino, the Dolphins the last 16 years would have been in the toilet. In addition to which, where's the new quarter? Where's the backup, baby? Give me Craig Erickson. Is that the? Oh yeah, zip face. Forget it. Even the Mad Dog the other day was talking about Brian Greasy there. How come they let him slip through their fingers? How come they haven't been these people? It's like a mental illness. Like Dan Marino is going to play there forever. He's going to be like the George Blanda of the Dolphins. He's going to play till he's 110 years old. Guess what, sweethearts? Ain't going to happen. Well, let's blame him because he's a bad guy. Okay, I'm assuming we did all the spots there, Joe? Yes. Okay. We had a little technical problem there. Zoltan's got lunch. Thank you very much. Thank you to Chuck and Easy over there across the street. We thank you profusely for a little bit of lunch, which will also make that blood pressure come down a little bit more. Bad idea, Dr. Marks, giving that headlight. A real bad idea. A dangerous idea that, quite frankly, I'm just psychotic about. And guess what? My face is still flush, and I still got that whatever it is, and it ain't any different than it was yesterday or the day before or a week ago circus. Yeah, just cut that out. When in doubt, cut it out. I might change it about 10 points. Bada beep, bada boop, bada ba. Everybody, it's amazing how cavalier everybody else can be when it's your health that's at stake. That's the thing that's astonishing me. It's a little bit of nothing. It's not this. It's not that. And, quit taking that. It's a vasodilator, and the moon is on Uranus, and stick it in your rectum, and have a great life, In the meantime, I'm sitting here not having taken the one Adelaide this morning and watching my blood pressure go up and up and up and up. To which point I finally took it, and of course it takes about an hour to kick in. Thank God I took it when I did take it. Otherwise, I might be sitting here going, "Oi!" like that like this. I could be doing my Larry Flint imitation. Yeah, I don't drool as much though, not yet. Sometimes it might look like drool. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Yeah, Neil, I was the one who happened to mention, but we got disconnected about the woman who said the end of life as she knows
Oh, yeah,
it.
I'm sorry about that. That was right at the moment that we got cut off the air and lost our line, and probably Bell South was sabotaging us again. I'm serious. This show gets cut off more than all the other shows put together on this radio station. We have this ISDN line, which should be there should be no problem with it, and almost every day we get diddled around with here. Sabotage.
That's for sure, I know. My other point I wanted to make was, as far as this thing going on with the president and the Senate.
Yes, sir.
I think a lot of it is, like you said, is a definite conspiracy. It's way too obvious that it isn't. And secondly, I do believe that most of the old men wish they had a 24-year-old humidor.
All right. Amen.
Thank you, Neil.
You bet.
Take care.
Yeah, those right-wingers are jealous because the guys like Bob Barr, he's got some old bag that he's banging. Newt Gingrich, you see that? Oh, God, that new wife of his? Woo, heavy duty. And I mean, she makes Linda Tripp look like a woman. That's how hot she is. Anyway, better do this.
The Neil Rogers Show, now on 560 WQAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
There's Hank. Pot it up again, will you please? Because Hank is on it right now.
Number now.
What is that? 207. See, now we're finding out when George is watching some other.
Their relationship, you're saying, has improved, or at least Jimmy Johnson is concerned about their relationship. And what about the possibility, the strong possibility of Dan Marino getting that extension to remain the quarterback? How's that going to sit with Jimmy?
I think things were a little icy between them at some time during the season, but Jimmy was very effusive in the way he praised Dan's play 3 of the last 4 weeks of the season going into the Denver game. He felt that Dan had played the best that he had since Jimmy had been there, and talking with Dan myself about a month before the season ended, he said to me that he felt better than he had in a long time, and I think a lot of that came from their efforts to run the football and the way they protected Dan. And I think that they had been talking about extending Dan's contract, which would accomplish 2 things: help him cap-wise, where they already have about $4 million going into the off season, and keep Dan around for another couple of years.
All right, how about the addition of Dave Wannstedt? Now, Dave Wannstedt, of course, and Jimmy Johnson, close friends. A lot of folks that thought Dave Wannstedt deserved maybe a little more time in Chicago. He had a lot of time, but it looked like he was finally starting to turn things around. Injuries helped sidetrack that, and immediately he is swooped up in Miami. What is his role going to be specifically, and is this Johnson flexing his own muscles with power?
I don't think so. I think Dave's not the power part of it. Dave's role will be assistant head coach. George Hill is the defensive coordinator, did a great job. They had the #1 defense in points allowed, I think, during the regular season, and they have a terrific young defensive team. And George is 64 years old, but I know he's going to come back and coach again next year. I think Jimmy has always been comfortable with a confidant, somebody who's close to him. Dave certainly has been. When Dave first knew he was going to be fired in Chicago, Jimmy advised him that perhaps since he's going to get 2 years of $2,400,000, that's $1.2 million a year, that perhaps he might want to take a year off and spend time with his family and just sit back and sift through some offers. I know one of the offers that he had was to be George Seifert's defensive coordinator in Carolina. I think Dave might be inclined to use this to regroup for himself, and I think he'll be a head coach again in the league. Maybe he'll even succeed Jimmy in Miami. Jimmy has 1 year left on his contract. There's a possibility that Jimmy could step up as general manager, but that's just speculation on my part. I don't know that for sure.
Now, Hank, we've got some numbers here as far as Jimmy's 4th year in the past. He was very successful in Dallas in his 4th year, winning the first of 2 Super Bowls. And what about his 4th year in Miami? Of course, the expectations have been high. He has not yet made those expectations. Hank, is this a make-or-break year for Jimmy Johnson?
Well, I think it's a make year for Jimmy in his own mind. And that, remember last year, too, he disappeared for about a month after losing to Indianapolis 41-0 on the road, and then they played those 2 games against the Patriots, and they finished the season poorly. And remember, they gave up 76 points in their last 2 road games this year, the last game against Atlanta and that game up in Denver last week. So I'm sure he's a little sour that way. But despite that, he likes his defense very much. He went into Denver with several injuries. Jason Taylor, his best pass rusher, and Tim Bowens, his best run stopper. They'll be back next year. They have to make a decision on Richmond Webb, who is his contract is up. He's a free agent this year. They're all pro left tackle. But Jimmy told me a couple of weeks ago that this offseason will be totally devoted to building the offense. He feels that defense is young, it's quick, it's going to improve. He has outstanding young cornerbacks. He liked his 2 defensive line picks, and Lorenzo Bromell and Kenny Mixon. So it'll all be offense this year. Big play receiver, big running back, another mean lineman.
Hank Goldberg, we thank you so much. You're in Las Vegas to work the Tyson fight. Can you bring me back a T-shirt?
Tyson T-shirt or a Brosa one?
Well, either one. Whichever one's cheaper. All right, a press
Okay,
conference
that's
coming up at
12:30. We're coming up with a press conference. That was Hank on ESPN News. Great job, Hammer. I'll tell you one thing. Hank put himself on the map big time. He already was, but I mean, so far heads and shoulders above all these other twerps that sit around, and just talk through their ass without talking to the people involved who really don't know what they're talking about. Hank knows them all, baby. That's why when he came on there and said that, was there any doubt in my mind? No chance. So come up in 27 minutes or thereabouts, give or take, who knows, God only what, Jimmy Johnson's press conference, at which he will announce he be staying. 2 open lines in Dade, 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile 1 line. And like I predicted, the tone and the sound of the audience has changed dramatically from what it was just a short time ago and most of the morning from what I heard. The assassins have withdrawn their spears, and most of them have retreated to the back of the building. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
A couple of things. First, I told George I want to thank you both for that great CDs and tapes this year.
Yes,
I know it took a lot of work on your part.
Yes, it did.
Second, regarding the Jimmy Johnson, I live close to him down the Keys, a couple of streets over, and I've seen some of the things like you said that he has done to help underprivileged, philanthropy, and so on and so forth. Jimmy Johnson, not like other people, if you go up and ask Jimmy, even if he comes in the marina on his boat, and you say, Coach, can I have your autograph? No problem. I've never seen him say no to anybody. And I've seen some of the real biggies that'll just sit there and just push you aside, you know? And if he was going to leave, I'd say the major reason was, knowing him, because I see him around, I've talked to him occasionally, it was family reasons. You know, his dad. He wants to be near his dad a little bit more time. And I think that's probably what they've worked out. It wasn't money. It wasn't anything else. It was basically, I think he needs more time to be with his dad because he misses not being with his mom as much when she passed away.
And his dad has cancer and is undergoing chemotherapy.
And that's it. And he wants to spend more time with his family.
Yeah.
And he is.
I mean, I'm sure that's got to be a part of it, maybe the biggest part of it. Who knows? I mean, certainly, he's entitled to have a chance to speak his mind in about a half an hour. But to listen to these people this morning coming out of the woodwork like a bunch of termites, it was unbelievable. I'm driving in here and I couldn't believe it. I mean, all of a sudden they turn on this guy like a cornered rat.
Yeah, and there's no reason to, because he did not come to Miami for money. You know, I mean, it wasn't a money situation.
Right.
You know, that he came because they're offering him X amount of $1 million.
He could have still been sitting in the studio at Fox with his, like coiffed hair, making all the money he wanted.
And making a lot more.
Right.
So, anyway, that's it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Bye.
Okay, there you go. All you assassins out there, all you maniacs. And I'm so glad that happened the way it did, that these people all got caught with their pants down. It's just beautiful, because it shows you the true nature of the people in this town, of the so-called sports fan, of the people in general. Talk about two-faced and backstabbing and, I mean, turning like on a dime. They can all of a sudden do this incredible turnaround. Well, he sucked anyway. Like, for example, if they announced tomorrow, which of course it could never happen, but if they announced tomorrow that the Panthers were, and by the way, thank God for Sean Burke, for you Panther fans last night. If he wouldn't have played great, the Leafs would have won about 7-0 last night. He's the only thing that's kept those Panthers in game after game for the last 2 or 3 weeks, and you guys better kiss him on the ass. But if it was going to be announced, let's say he was playing lousy, and it was announced that he's being traded to the Flyers for John Van Beesbrook, then all these people would have said, oh, we don't like the way he left here. He's an asshole. They would have said, oh, man, he's been playing great. Thank God we're getting the Bees are back. Bees are. It's just, there's no credibility there. No credibility whatsoever. And then, of course, when you come back to what I always say, which is that most of them don't know what they're talking about anyway, that explains a lot of it. Look at that phone now all of a sudden, baby. They're departing like flies on a file. Open line in Broward, all three in Dade. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Lots of lines. Fort Lauderdale, hello.
Hey, Leo.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Buenos dias.
I was at the game last night. I was very disappointed.
About what?
I was very disappointed about the score. I thought the Maple Leafs played a terrific game.
They played two great periods and they ran out of steam.
Yes, they did. They didn't play very good in their own zone in the third period.
In fact, I thought we were very lucky to wind up with a tie. I mean, late in the third and early in that overtime, it was a miracle that the Leafs pull out the tie.
Did you get to enjoy the game, Neil?
I enjoyed it tremendously, and the people with the little babies stayed home. Thank God bless them. Thank them very much, and I enjoyed it very much. Saw the whole game. Didn't have people running around in front of me holding up their little kids. It was great. Although we still can't see the goal light down there on the shoot twice end. You know, down there at the to my right. All the people that sit on the east side stands in the Mac Arena still can't see the goal light. And let me say it again. I'll keep saying it all year long. Until they fix that, it tells me this is such a Bush League organization. They don't care about the fans. They don't give a crap about the people that spend all that money to put in Wayne's pocket.
I was sitting right behind the goal, actually, last night, Neil, and if I'm correct, I don't even think that goal light that I was sitting behind even works.
Does it? How do you like that?
So
that's a real big league operation.
Yeah. Well, you know, the Mac Arena is, how much money did they spend on that
$200
thing?
million.
$200 million.
Of public money.
You can't even get a goal light to work.
Yeah. I volunteered way back early in the season. I offered. I said, if we want to get some real goal lights in there, like they have at Maple Leaf Gardens or any real arena, I'll foot the bill. How much could it cost? You know, a few $100?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But hopefully the Maple Leafs will rebound. They've been playing.
Well, why are you sound so sad, for crying out loud? They pulled the game out of their ass in Tampa the night before. They got 51 points. They're kicking serious ass. They looked great last night for two periods. Too many games in too short of a period of time, and then the back-to-back games on the road.
Yeah, they will run out of steam when that happens to you. They'll take care of Buffalo.
We'll be just fine.
They'll take care of their own business.
Okay.
Sure, though. Take care of yourself, man.
Have a great day. Mike Johnson is gone. Boy, am I gagging. That's from trying to eat food while I'm doing a show, trying to get my blood pressure down, trying to save my life from a bunch of crazy people. Oh, yeah, just, stop taking the pill, Oh, God. And here my doctor was at the game last night. Looks at my neck. Oh, yeah, that is interesting. That wasn't there when I saw it. That is interesting. And I said, what does that mean, interesting? Oh, it could be a whole bunch of things, but don't worry, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And then he feels my neck. Oh, yeah, it is hot. It's warm. Your head, your face. Yeah, and it is again today, Doc. And, well, don't worry, you'll be fine. Just remember, folks, I'll be fine. You believe it?
No.
I'll be fine.
Anybody have a heart or a liver?
Looking through the bars at the county jail, O.J. was there and he began to wail. Stoyanovich was there because he drank too much, and Tyson was looking for something to touch of those jocks. Look at all the jailhouse jocks. Oh! Everybody was grabbing their socks, getting ready for the jailhouse jocks. Mr. Fitzpatrick wasn't looking so well, saying that his marriage was a living hell. Cops in the corner with his burrito. He said that Taco Bell is the way to go with those jocks. Look at all the jailhouse jocks. All right. Everybody was grabbing their socks, smiling at the jailhouse jocks. Hanging with the jailhouse jocks, watching them bust up rocks. Look at them stiffing their chops. Everyone checking their clocks. Everybody has had hard knocks, including those jailhouse jocks.
12:13 at 560 WQM. All the date lines are open, by the way, all three, which is astonishing to me. But it's obvious, like I said, the millions of assassins, they're the ones who fill up the lines, like I heard this morning. They come out of the woodwork. As soon as I sat down here this morning and started talking about this, there were 8 billion of them on there. But now they don't know whether to scream or eat your banana. 567-0560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. About 16 minutes away from 12:30 when the press conference is scheduled to begin. We'll have it for you. And then I can finish my lunch in peace. Here's a lady mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I want to know why you always dishing Jimmy.
What kind of a phony accent is that?
That ain't no phony accent.
Yeah.
Why you always want to dish Jimmy?
Well, what are you talking about? You talking to me?
Yeah, anybody that's successful in the world today,
Are you listening to what I'm saying? I'm talking about the callers ripping him in the ass, and I'm ripping him? What are you talking about?
No matter who it is. If it's Mike Tyson, you're going to put him down because he's black.
Oh, yeah, because he's black, right. Not because he raped anybody or bit a guy's ear off, because he's black, right. Blow it out your ass, bitch. We have an open line at Dade 1 in Broward. 56705. And by the way, learn to speak somewhere, will you please? Go learn to speak English. Would be good. Here's Boca. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Why you always be dishing, Jimmy?
Yeah, wasn't that great? I'm dishing some lunch up right now in my puss.
How is it?
It's delicious.
All right.
Atkins lunch. Which hopefully will bring my blood pressure down from 900 over 800. Thanks a lot, Dr. Mark. You're a genius, baby.
You know, you want a red light down at the arena there for the goals, but, those guys got a mortgage to pay down there.
Yeah, you're right. That's what Mr. Bowtie said. In fact, you know something? Lately, every time I see him, I don't see the bow tie anymore. Maybe they had to pawn his collection of bow ties.
I think he probably had to sell off a few of them to make last month's payment.
Mm-hmm, probably. Or maybe they're raising the money to see if they can get Pavel Bure.
I tell you what, this Jimmy thing, man, everybody has a story. Everybody thinks they know what's going on.
But isn't it amazing how all these people got caught with their pants down, opened up a big mouth. I'm coming in this morning, and all these experts, both on the air and the callers, and they're talking up a storm like they know something. Hank calls in here 20 to 11 and just unmasks all of them and makes them all look like a pile of crap.
You'd think they'd have learned, time and time again. Hank's done this to them.
Right.
All the people in the newspapers, all the media.
Because Hank knows all the principles involved, and he gets his information directly from those people, and doesn't just sit and read some stupid thing that some irresponsible jackass wrote in the newspaper.
I mean, they'd be better off just to wait for Hank to give his report and then write it the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, at least it would be,
That doesn't kill enough good airtime.
At least it would be accurate.
Right.
Okay,
now you're nitpicking.
Keep your feet on the ground. Keep your head in the clouds.
All right. We have an open line at Broward. 5. How you always dishing them, Jimmy Johnson? I didn't know Jimmy Johnson was black. Did you? Did you know that?
No.
What does that got to do with Mike Tyson? What'd she be talking about? Does anybody out there know?
No.
All bent out of shape. I think it was that Mike Tyson thing that got her psychotic. He's a scumbag, okay? A scumbag, a convicted rapist, and a piece of crap. And a lot of idiots are going to go out there, a lot of morons, and pay $50 to watch him beat up some bum this Saturday out there at the MGM Grand. And it's pathetic. And all I can tell you, ma'am, all I can tell you, and I know for a fact, is...
That's the American fucking way.
Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Mr. Rogers.
Yes, I am.
I have a problem like you have with the blood pressure, and I had 7 bypasses on my heart in 96, before 96. And was put on blood pressure medicine. I've been able to take myself off of that due to Atkins and garlic.
Yeah.
Taking fresh garlic in the morning, like maybe a clove of it, and chop it up with eggs.
Yeah.
And it lowers that blood pressure, that diastolic, to in the 70s. When I go off Atkins, trouble. It shoots right up. So I just wanted to let you know. And I enjoy your show very much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. My best advice, though, is don't stop taking any prescription medication without using your brain, okay? Even if your doctor tells you to do it. Just get a second opinion, like George says. One of the worst moves I've ever made. Thank God I got enough of a brain to bring my little blood pressure thing in here this morning and that Adalat pill just in case. Because I said to myself, what if I go in there? Because when you're working, obviously, your pressure's going to go up. And I've been taking this particular medication along with one other one for like 2 years and doing very well on it. And what if I go in there and don't take it, and then suddenly my pressure goes skyrocketing, which it was, and I don't have anything? Of course, I wouldn't have known anyway. Yeah, another stroke of genius. Nice going, Neil. I think George may have the best idea about this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? I'll get a second opinion. Here's Providence, Rhode Island. Hello.
How you doing?
Okay, sir.
It's tough being a Dolphins fan up here because you got to rely on some second-hand information. But
well, down here they rely on 10-hand information until Hank called in.
That's true. Well, I'm glad to hear Hammer and Hank's report. Just curious. I mean, just to add another note. I mean, I personally think if Jimmy left, we'd be maybe not in a shambles, but it'd be very tough to recover from that. I think we're moving forward, and that would be the worst thing for the team at this point. But my question being, I keep hearing, I search the internet, I keep hearing we need a big receiver, which I know we do, a big running back. and we need help along the offensive line. But the thing is, how are we going to do this? Is he going to go out and get a big-name free agent receiver? I mean, I don't see too many big
I think Shula said it best.
We need some help.
Okay, call one of the sports shows. Call up Hank and talk about that, okay? Don't talk sports. We have an open line in Dave Wannstedt. See, you see the problem with this? There are two different aspects. It's a major news story in town, which is why I'm talking about it, and why we certainly are carrying the press conference. But on the other hand, the people that want to discuss all the sports intricacies do it someplace else. I don't do it, and have no interest. Here's Miami. Hello.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay,
I'm calling. I've been listening to you since you started in QM, so I got to listen to your Roman Catholic, the talks. And the other day I was in my house.
My Roman Catholic talk?
Yeah, the talks about the church.
In the church.
Right.
Thank you. That's what I wanted you to play.
Yeah.
And they show this movie called Judgment.
There's no fact in the church.
Mm-hmm.
They showed this movie called Judgment. I don't know if you heard of it.
No.
It's about the Father Frank Obey story. And
Father Franco Gay?
Yeah. The whole story, and then this kid at the end, he gets on trial. And
in the end?
Yeah, he confesses, about the end, and then it says that he's still serving. Yep, they say that he's still serving time. So, I just call you to see maybe you want to check that movie out.
Judgment?
Yeah, it's called Judgment.
Is it like on video? Is it on TV?
I don't know. I saw it on HBO.
Okay.
All right.
I'll check it out.
Okay,
Thanks a lot. And don't forget, pal.
There's no fact in the church.
Yeah, and of course, you see a bunch of guys running around in dress with a silly little beanie on. I mean, that's probably, that's the way it ought to be, right? Yeah. Open line and date, 56, and of course, if you had any questions about, life or about marriage or about anything in general, I'd go see a guy in a dress every time. 5670560, pound. What are you laughing about? That sounds like a perfectly natural thing to me. Guess we better do a break. You know what I'm going to do, Joe? Not that you care. I'm just telling you right up front. Let's do this spot from the next break, because that break's going to disappear. You know what I'm saying? The one that's written in there? And then the rest of the break? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
It's okay.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Okay.
Okay. I feel like Dennis James. Is Dennis James dead, by the way? Yes, Dennis James is dead. I like Dennis James. All the people I like, they're all dead. The people I can't stand, like Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, see, there you go again.
Why you be dishing?
Yeah, I'm dishing Whoopi, which is not as good as making Whoopi, but right up there.
There's no fact in the church.
He started out a regular guy who joined the rectory and made the ultimate sacrifice, embracing celibacy. Father O'Toole. All right. Amen. From Holy Food. Father O'Toole, altering for amen. As time went by, his earthly needs compromised his choice. He found a way to get relief by altering young boys. Father O'Toole, amen. From Holy Food. Father O'Toole, altering boys, amen. He was happy and gay till he got caught by some tattletale. Then the Vatican paid everyone off and he didn't have to go to jail. Father O'Toole, amen. From Holy Fool. Father O'Toole, altering boys, amen. They sent him to a priest retreat where they genuflect and pray. If it was you or it was me, they'd lock us up and throw the keys away. Father O'Toole, amen. From Holy Fool. Father O'Toole, altering boys, amen. Father O'Toole, amen. Oh! From Holy Fool.
Now, how do he be saying that stuff when we're beyond the shadow of a doubt that?
There's no fact in the church.
Club 28, we're coming up real close on it, baby. We're like right on the old rectum of this press conference with Jimmy Johnson coming up any second. Why are you holding that out there? I mean, I'm watching ESPN News right now, and they got rehashing more Michael Jordan. What is it?
I'm just pretending.
Oh, it's just a prop. George is holding up a prop. Oh, it's the phone? It looked like a prop. Here's Tamarack. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Neil. Listen, I was wondering what your take is on this BMBS concerning the
Tabula Bure.
I have no take. I mean, again, the papers, which are totally incorrect about everything else, they said this morning, that maybe it looks like we're going to get him. And when we get to get some news about it, I'll tell you. Yeah, that sounded like the guy with the eyes. You're right. Here's Weston. Hello.
Hey, Neil. What's up?
Yes, sir.
About Jimmy Johnson, they were saying one guy in Key West was saying that.
Or Weston, whatever, same difference.
He was saying that it sounds like the reason that Jimmy Johnson would have left, if he had left at all, was because of the family. But I'm not so sure that that's accurate. I'm thinking with all the time that he has in the off season to be with his family, that doesn't really go well with me. What do you think?
I think it may be part of it, but there's a lot more to it than that.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be a lot more to it than that. But you know what I think? I think we'll wait and see what he has to say and see if it's credible or not, if it sounds like it makes sense.
Yeah, I think we all need to be a little patient around here, don't you think?
Unlike those people with a big mouth in the morning, all these callers calling in who are ready to put them up on a cross and let's, burn it and set it on fire.
Amen, Neil. Take care.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Okay, it's 12:30. Let's see what this guy
12 or so hours
is saying.
in around Davie, Florida, to say the least. Jimmy Johnson, a frustrating end to his season as he got his banged-up Dolphins to the postseason, humiliated 38-3 at the hands of the Broncos. Reports everywhere said that Johnson would resign today in 11 a.m. Eastern press conference. Well, Johnson had an early meeting this morning with team owner Wayne Huizenga and Dan Marino, and apparently that is not the case. There you see Huizenga earlier this morning coming back pronto from the winter baseball game in San Diego to Jimmy around. And Jimmy Johnson has a change of heart, and he will not resign as head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, according to our own Hank
Goldberg. He will stick around. Our own Hank Goldberg broke the story earlier, joining us on
did you hear that?
News.
Was that a talk-up or what?
In trying to evaluate what was going
through
Jimmy's head, I know there were a lot of things during the season that were bothering him. He's been troubled by the fact that coaching changed so much just in a couple of years that he was out, and that it's difficult to deal with players, particularly the higher-paid ones, in terms of their responsiveness. And the second thing that bothered him was at Black Monday when 5 coaches were fired, and he felt that was unjust, and it cast some negative feelings on the profession and his mind. And the third thing was that he was not at all happy with the media in the way that they treated a lot of the stories this year, particularly the week that Dan Marino threw for his 400th touchdown pass, and Jimmy didn't give him a lot of platitudes in his post-game press conference, which the local press made a lot of, and the talk shows as well. And I know I went in to do Jimmy's radio show that week, and he was very concerned about that. He said to me, what am I supposed to do about this? If I say something, they get me. If I don't, they get me. So I think that was bothering him too.
Well, the number 4 has been very significant in Jimmy Johnson's coaching career. Back at Miami, he threatened to walk. He stuck around. In his 4th year, he won a national championship. In his 4th year with the Dallas Cowboys, he won the first of 2 Super Bowl championships. Now the task ahead is to try to get it done with the Miami Dolphins in this, his 4th year that will be coming up here. Meanwhile, another surprise announcement happens this morning in Davie, Florida. Dave Wannstedt, Jimmy Johnson's former assistant with the Dallas Cowboys, who, of course, was fired by the Chicago Bears on Black Monday a couple weeks back, has been hired as the Miami Dolphins' assistant head coach under Jimmy Johnson. Word has it, then, when the day does approach that Jimmy Johnson steps down as head coach, Dave Wannstedt would then assume the title of head coach of the Miami Dolphins.
All right.
Back to Mike Greenberg now on ESPN News.
Okay, get Mike Greenberg off of there. Okay, so in other words, they're still they're padding for time. Okay. So there, and that was beautiful. Just like I said, give Hank some credit, and he gave Hank some credit. As soon as Hank said, "Hey, stupid," then this guy butched up a little bit. So we're still waiting for Jimmy. Okay, over there in Davie, Florida, and we have our people standing by. It's really kind of sad that I'm sitting here with. Do they have any idea? I mean, is Jimmy there? Are there bodies there?
No.
He's not there yet.
Couple more minutes.
Well, a couple more minutes. What? Is he going to fall through the ceiling in a couple of minutes? Is he going to spontaneously appear, like spontaneous generation? I think he's a little
to the ground.
He's what?
He's going to bust through the sod.
Yeah. Like an apparition? Like the Virgin Mary at Rosa Lopez's house? That was yesterday. This is today. Remember that movie? Okay, maybe we can squeeze in another call or two here because it's any moment now. We're right on the edge. Are you getting excited about it?
No.
Here's the mobile in Palm Beach. Hello.
Yeah, hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
This has got all the earmarks of a Phil Hendry skit.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the next head coach? Brian Cox?
Wouldn't it be something if we had Phil Hendry on the phone doing Jimmy's voice? That would really be
Well, I'm waiting for Brian Cox to come in and say, suck my dick.
Yeah.
Is he going to be the head coach, him and Wannstedt?
Funny you should mention that because I think I just saw his post on the screen.
Ooh, Brian Cox.
Brian Cox. He was saying
Suck my dick.
something like that.
Number 51, new head coach in Miami Dolphins.
Brian and Eddie Jovanovski, the only two jocks I know who wear their IQ on their uniform, but anyway. So they're still padding for time, and thank God they got more of that Michael Jackson stuff. See, they knew, did I say Michael Jackson? Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, same complexion, you know. At least Michael Jordan's got a better haircut and a better nose. Where are we going? Here's a mobile in Kendall. Hello.
Hey,
Yes,
Neil,
sir.
how's it going?
Great.
Listen, two things. One, I am going to see the Mike Tyson fight, but it's because I'm not paying for it. I got that illegal box.
Okay.
And the
Ordinarily on the air, you know, I always have to say that to hell with the illegal boxing, it's a very evil thing. But in this case,
it's justifiable.
yeah.
And the second thing is I was driving down a Palmetto. I saw a car with a big dent on the side, and it says, with a bumper sticker, Jesus watches over me. I said, well, he must have blinked.
Oi! Yeah.
How'd it go, Neil?
Well, he doesn't always do a good job. You know, he's busy doing a lot of other stuff. We have two open, like, you know, with these football games, like I've always told you, God is big. What is that?
To welcome a great addition to our coaching staff, someone that I have known for a long, long time, somebody that's going to help us take that next step, and that's Dave Wannstedt. Dave and I coached together at various places, at University of Pittsburgh, at Oklahoma State, University of Miami, Dallas Cowboys, and he comes in as my assistant head coach. And when I say assistant head coach, I don't mean like they have on a lot of staffs, a token assistant head coach. He is truly the assistant head coach in that, and whenever maybe I'm not in Mobile, like at the Senior Bowl next week, I'll be there for a few days. If I'm not there the whole week, he will take the role as the head coach when I'm not there. Same thing, whether or not be our meetings here or at Indianapolis, on and on. Going back 3 years ago, I made a statement that I was going to do everything in my power to bring a championship to the Miami Dolphins in 3 years. I can honestly say that I gave everything that I had, a total commitment, to make this team the very best that it could be. Although I'm disappointed that we didn't win a championship, I am encouraged that we are very, very close. I really believe that that would allow us to win a couple more games during the regular season, which would allow us to have a bye in the playoffs, which would allow us to be able to be at home for the playoffs and have success. So I think we're really close. A month ago, I started a very trying period. My mother passed away, and we went through some times where, in all honesty, it opened up my eyes as far as me realizing that I needed to spend some time with people that I care about. As you all know, coaching is not a 9-to-5 job. We go through 7 or 8 months of 15-hour days, and I went through that for about 34 years. In my early days, it cost me spending time with my 2 sons. It cost me a marriage. And I could see some of these same things happening, and like I said, when Mother died, I realized that I really needed to spend some time with people that I cared about. Rhonda Rookmaker and myself, we plan on getting married. I wanted to spend time with her. And so, looking at all this, I didn't see a way that I could juggle everything, spending time with people I cared about, and yet fulfilling my responsibility to make the Miami Dolphins the best they could be. I visited with Wayne Huizenga this morning, and let me tell you what. For people that don't know, he is a special individual. We have got great people here with the Miami organization, great people with the Dolphins, and it all starts right there with Wayne. we visited at length, and I talked about Dave. And he said, you know, Jimmy, he said, why is it you can't just bring Dave in? And this will allow you some time for Rhonda and your family, and yet you've got the quality of someone that you respect as much, if not more, than anybody in the National Football League to fill your shoes on those days that you're not there. And the more we talked, the more it made sense. I really think it's going to be a great addition for the Miami Dolphins. And let me assure everybody of this. My determination and my commitment is not one bit less than what it has been before. If anything else, I think there's more resolve there to get the championship to the Miami Dolphins. I think we have strengthened our staff. I think we have strengthened this organization. And again, I think there's even more resolve to make this team one notch better. Not only did Wayne spend time with me, but it was important that all the people in the organization, the assistant coaches, everybody from Stu to Ann, everybody, and then even Dan Marino came up. Dan sat down with me at length this morning, and he said, Coach, he said, we are so close. We're really close to getting to where we want to be. And I think, you know, just the feeling of everybody made me realize that I could, you know, do what and accomplish what I wanted to accomplish in both areas. And I did talk to Rhonda a few minutes ago, and she's excited about me staying. And the only thing she said was, just because you're staying, I'm not letting you off the hook. You're still marrying me. And so I'm excited about it. I think it's great for the Miami Dolphins, and I can answer your questions later on. But now I'll bring up Dave Wannstedt, assistant head coach.
It's great to be back in the Dolphin organization. Hopefully this time will be a longer stay than the first. For some of you who might not be familiar with what I'm talking about, Coach Shula hired me when I was at the University of Miami. Got hired on here as the linebacker coach for 7 weeks before ending up in Dallas with Jimmy. But seriously, this is a very exciting time for me to be involved with a great organization, with a great owner in Wayne, a man who's committed to doing what it takes to be the best. It's exciting to be back with Jimmy, someone who I respect, as on a professional level, on a personal level, and we've had an awful lot of success together over the years, as he's mentioned, and that's the plan here to get that done. As far as getting back into South Florida, living here when I coach at the University of Miami, my wife and kids are excited about the opportunity and the challenge ahead. Lastly, my responsibility and what I bring to the table, my commitment will be to do whatever I can do in any area to make the Dolphins better and to get where we all want to get. Right. Sure.
Our defensive coordinator is George Hill. Nothing has changed there. Kippy Brown's our offensive coordinator. And as I said before, Dave is truly the assistant head coach. And he will be involved in meetings just like I'm involved in meetings. There may be times when Dave will be involved with sitting in with the offensive meetings while I'm sitting in with the defensive meetings, or vice versa, back and forth. But this does not upstage anybody on our staff. George Hill has done a tremendous job. He's a great football coach. And I assured him that, Dave coming in is really working with me more than he is with the defense. And George welcomes it. He said, hey, Dave and I know each other well. He said, Dave's a great football coach. And he said, I look forward to Dave having input to what we're doing. So I think this is a real positive, and again, As far as our staff, George Hill and Kippy Brown both remain coordinators.
When did you make the decision that you needed to step down, and when exactly did you decide to step?
Well, the biggest thing, again, is the feeling that I had was it's hard for me to juggle both roles and have time for my family, which is very important to me and something that I'm going to do, and yet have a total commitment to the Miami Dolphins. There will be times that I won't be here 16 hours a day. And in those times, Dave is going to be working as the head coach. There's sometimes I love personnel and I love, being able to put together the product. And so there's no way in the world that I'm going to miss any of that. I think that we can pull out my expertise in certain areas, and then we can add to it with Dave's expertise in certain areas. But as far as the feeling that I had as far as maybe not coming back, Rhonda and I spent a couple of days in the Keys here the first part of this week, and that's when that was. And then when I was able to work out the total program was this morning.
Did you ever resign or say you wanted to resign?
No, I never did actually do anything along that line, but that's because the first time I had an opportunity to meet with Wayne was this morning.
If Dave was not available to fulfill this idea, would you have stepped down?
I don't think any of us, including myself, can speculate as far as what might have happened. It didn't happen, and again, I want to make sure this is very clear to everybody. My commitment and my resolve and my efforts they are not diminished, not one bit. And if anything, with another person here that I care about, I feel even more responsibility to getting the job done.
Jimmy, was there a contract extension?
No, no. This has nothing to do with contracts or anything like that, and so that was never even discussed, and we didn't want it discussed.
Jimmy, how long have you and Dave been talking about this thing coming together? How long has it been working?
Oh, Dave and I talk. I think we probably had conversations at least once a week for the last 10 or 15 years. And I'm not exaggerating. He's one of the few people that I do talk to. I'm not much of a telephone person, as anybody in this room that's ever tried to call my house might know. Like I said, I don't like talking on the telephone, but there are a few people, my family, my sons, Dave, and occasionally North Turner, and that's about the only phone talk I've ever had.
Jimmy, was there any doubt this morning when you walked in that you were going, that you were going to be staying? I mean, going, when you resigned? I mean, what changed?
Well, there were some uncertainties in that Wayne hired me to do a job, and he hired me in a certain role. And I had reservations about going to Wayne in the middle of the stream and saying, wait a minute, because of what I want to do with my family, and because I'm getting married, and because the time that I want to spend with my father, who's, after he's finishing chemotherapy, is coming down here in a few weeks. Because of those things, my role has changed, and so it's hard for me to go to him and say, I don't want to do these things. I want to change it around. And to Wayne's credit, we worked through all of these things to where we can accomplish what we want accomplished.
Jimmy, there will be a day down the road when you do step down. Will that happen? Will Dave take over as head coach?
Well, I don't think we can speculate about that. I don't know what's going to happen when that day comes. And I think it would be foolish, and I think it would be wrong for us to say what was going to happen. Only thing I want to happen right now is I want us to win a championship, and I want us to win it this year.
Jimmy, football has been such a big part of your life. How will you be able to step back?
Yeah, I'm still, I say step back. Who knows? I may not step back another hour, but at least my plans are to try to spend more time with my future wife and with my father and my 2 sons. I'm going to go out of my way to spend more time with them because, in all honesty, and don't get me wrong, I don't regret doing anything that I did. I don't look back and say, I wish I'd have done this or I wish I'd have done that. But I can learn from what happened in those first 34 years or so. And I think that I can be a better football coach. I can be more relaxed. I can be more upbeat and positive if I have a good family life. And people, you talk to coaches around the league and they say, well, first comes my religion, and then second comes my family, and then third comes football. And yet they work at football 15, 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, that tells me football was first, and they go to church for an hour a week. So, and they're with their family 2 hours a week. So it looks like to me it was football, a little bit of family and a little bit of religion, and that's how it tells me what your commitment is. And my commitment is going to be the same as far as getting us to a championship. But I will try to spend a few more hours with my family.
Jimmy, the first question we never answered, and I'll say this, they asked me, how long will it take to improve lack of overall pitch speed, to finally get the salary back and the non-existent running game that's been expectation 16 years? Why have you been so damn successful with the first two, not so successful with the latter, even though you tried to solve a lot of issues?
Well, it takes time. And, I don't want to stand here and say, what was here and what we had to do. Only thing I can say is this. We improved 3 straight years. We were able to take a team, and right now we've got a young, talented team. We'll have more money under the cap next year than probably anybody in the league. We've got 43 or 4 players under contract right now and 15 more tendered. We've only got 2 starters that are not under contract. We've got to make some decisions on those 2 starters. We're in great shape as far as the talent of this football team and as far as what we can do. So this is not like a 6-10 team. This is a playoff team that advanced 1 notch in the playoffs. I expect us to advance again. I was all prepared to say this morning that people should not be disheartened because the best thing in the world is to be the coach that follows Jimmy Johnson. Ask Pat Jones that went to Oklahoma State or took over to Oklahoma State, or ask Dennis Erickson that won a couple of championships at Miami, or ask Barry Switzer who won a Super Bowl at Dallas. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world to follow me. But for some of you, you have me for at least 1 more year, all right? Oh, we need a couple more playmakers on offense. I know that, and Dan and I talked about it this morning. We know that, and I defend our people some because they are our people, but we know we got to get better in a couple of areas.
Jimmy, as a point of clarification, will Dave coach the position at all?
No, Dave will not be coaching the position, and it will not be a coordinator. He'll be assistant head coach. He will work with all 3 areas: offense, defense, special teams, just like I do. Who's got the headsets on Sunday? We'll both have headsets on, talking to the coordinators.
You'll have me at least 1 more year, but your contract is 2 more years.
Who knows? Yeah. Did you pick up the papers this morning? Edwin, you probably wrote something. I don't know. Hey, I can't say what's going to happen a year from now. I can't say what's going to happen 10 years from now. Who knows? I mean, you may be stuck with me forever. I don't know. All I know is I know what I'm going to do this year, and I'm going to coach like the Dickens to get us a championship.
You're going to coach all these years. You've wrestled with this whole thing about not having enough time for your family. When did you have this kind of catharsis? Was it something that just all of a sudden triggered in your heart that said I had to do something?
When I went to Mother's funeral, they had the viewing the day before, and I wasn't able to do that. And and my sons were there. And there's time that you pull back and you say, hey, be with some people that you care about, and don't shortchange them. They care about you. They love you. They're supportive in everything that you do. Give them just a little bit back, and that's what I plan on doing.
Were you at all disheartened by the fact that you weren't on the same schedule that you thought you'd be on 3 years ago?
The only reason we had a schedule is because that's what my contract was, 3 years. Who knows what's going to happen 3 years from now? I can't say that we're going to win this or win that. No one can. The only thing we can hope for. I can hope that we're going to win a championship in 3 years. But the only thing I did know, and I truly believed in my heart, was that we'd be better, and I think we were better.
I mean, when exactly did you call Dave and say, we're going to have to do it? Come and be my assistant?
Finalizing everything this morning.
Now, did you tell Dave last week to take a year off?
Yeah, I've told him that. How many times I tell you that, Dave?
About half of those phone calls.
Again, a lot of this has to do with Wayne, because Wayne's a smart enough person to see that this can work. And I think Wayne knows me. He understands me. He understands my belief in what Dave can add to the table, and saying, hey, I'd like to see this work. So a lot of credit goes there. A lot of credit goes to Eddie Jones. If anybody in their life, they have somebody that they value as being really good, a really good person, well, you know someone like Eddie Jones. And Eddie and I talked about it last night. We talked about Dave last night. And so that's where the process started.
So where do you go from telling Dave that you're off to come be my assistant?
Jimmy knew that I wasn't going to take a year off. I mean, I was going to coach, and my conversations were really what opportunities might be present for me from the coaching end of it. It really had nothing to do with me taking time off.
When you go to Dan this morning, you discuss
Yeah, I've said all along, Dan, and as I told him this morning, I said, Dan, we're in position right now that we've got to be a strong enough football team that we can win without you having a great day. And there's going to be days that you are going to have a great day like you did against Denver on that Monday night game. And that's going to be a bonus, and there's going to be times we're going to need for you to do that. But we have to strengthen this football team.
Hello, this is Arnold. This is not a tumor. It's the 1 to 2 hour.
Well, all right, sports fans. Okay, 12:58 at 560 WQM. There you have Jimmy Johnson's press conference with Dave Wannstedt. And I'm just wondering, and we'll talk about it when we come back after the break, I'm wondering about some of the egg on the puss of some of the assholes I heard on the air this morning.
This is 560 QAM.
Wasted long-haired people eating out of flies while I tuck my food up under my coat when it's cherries and scars wide. They said you look like a twice as rich young man that won't do it. Well, now I open my jacket and the snack and tell Huizenga the truth. Fine, when I think time, line up the scenery program in my mind. Do this song to that when I think time. And the wings sit off that thunder with the fire on tight. While I jump the fence around, feel the shouting, we really fight. Oh, you put up a fence, keep you out for the people. man is some kind of asshole. Signs, when I sing the signs. Line up the scene, so in my mind. Do this, don't do that, when I sing the signs. Oh, hey now, mister, can't you read? Just can't go will on people's agree. You should talk to society. What we ain't supposed to be. We're dreaming too long hair. And the Wayne says you gotta have a membership card to rent a seat. I know I already have.
4 minutes after 1 at 560 WQM. We apologize for all the extraneous that been going on. But, hey, we got our program directors running around like a bumblebee in heat, which he's got a lot of practice. Anyway, so this morning, here are your two newspapers. Par for the course once again. Now that Don Smiley is out of the picture and the John Henry deal is final with the Marlins, now we move on to another piece of crap, okay? Front page of the Sun Sentinel, upper left-hand corner. JJ to resign as Dolphins head coach, reports say, by Dave Hyde. Right on the front page. Not the front page of the sports section, the front page of the front section. Here's the Miami Herald. Right-hand corner, lead story. I mean, here's the presidential impeachment on the left-hand with the pictures, but the lead story is always in the upper right-hand corner, of course. Johnson expected to quit Dolphins by Armando Salguero, yada, yada, yada. He'll report to the Dolphins headquarters today to resign. Not it's reported. Wait till you hear this. Jimmy Johnson will report to the Dolphins headquarters today to resign after 3 seasons as the team's head coach. In a hastily prepared afternoon press conference, he is expected to cite family reasons for his departure. How do you like that? Is this unbelievable? And you see, the problem with your newspapers is they have a deadline. So they have to go to bed by, 11 o'clock at night, midnight, 1 o'clock, whatever the hell the time is they go to bed. So for somebody to put this on the front page of the newspaper, as usual, shows the ultimate, the height and irresponsibility. Just unbelievable. Not it is rumored. At least the Sun Sentinel said Fox News was reporting last night that that's what was going to happen. But Armando Salguero, right here in the Herald, he will report it, et cetera. So a lot of people with egg on their puss today, right? Oh! You said it. Man. And like I said when I came on the air this morning, how about let's hear what he has to say? And especially after what he did have to say. And believe me, he was a little choked up there a couple of times. I hate to break the news to you, but I know this comes as a shock. But even people who are football coaches and athletes and wear a jockstrap, even those people, when their mother dies or their father dies or their mother dies and their father has cancer, these people actually put their pants on one leg at a time and have like living and breathing emotions. I know that comes as a great shock to the sports nerds out there who never bother to think beyond, what the odds are on a game and did my team win for me to make me feel good about myself. And the swill that I heard coming in here this morning, man, I'm going to tell you, it's just unbelievable by both the callers and the people on the air. Spineless and gutless and this and that. Right. Don't even give the guy an opportunity. Don't even get to the real story. Thank God for Hank. Let me say it again.
Hey, stupid!
You people, when Hank comes on from Vegas at 2 o'clock this afternoon, you ought to be... In fact, this radio station, when he comes back to town, they ought to be kissing him all over the place. Well, not Duff, but I mean, No, seriously, they ought to be lined up at the door to meet you, greet the plane with a welcoming home party for the humper. Because he's the one that finally, talked to the parties involved and got the real story instead of just, taking somebody at face value or taking some report off of a TV newscast or something out of one of our local newspapers, which anyone should know better than that. It's like this Pavel Bure thing. Like I said, when I see it, I'll believe it. When I hear that it's a fait accompli and it's done, whether he's coming here or goes someplace else, then I'll believe it. So you can get as pissed off as you want with me about ripping our local newspapers. They suck. You can't complain about the journalism in this town because there isn't any. Just a bunch of overgrown kids like Armando Salguero and like Barry Jackass and like some of these other people who may be a few years older and I'll know better, but they don't, which is why they're here. Very, very pathetic. Egg on the old puss. And those of you callers out there, and I know most of you are still listening, that called in this morning. And like I've told you a million times, I couldn't care less. I don't go to the Dolphin games anymore. If they win, fine. If they lose, fine. It's not an important part of my life. I just don't care anymore. I'm not into it. I get the free tickets, those club seats, they're great seats. I don't use them. So I have no axe to grind one way or the other. but it's so typical, man, of this town. Don't even give the guy a chance to listen to what he's got to say. And if I could tell you the number of radio, every station I've worked on has been like this. Every news department, rush to judgment. Let's go on. You know, every time there would be an incident that would happen in town, like a major incident, people call on the air. Well, you know, let's start, judging somebody on the air. I won't do it. I never did it then. I won't do it now. Let's start holding a mock trial on the air, like Geraldo was doing with John Benet. That's beautiful. Let's hold a mock trial. Let's convict somebody in the media. Only a jackass like Geraldo does something like that. And of course, we all know he's a jackass. But those people calling in this morning with their venom, and he's gutless and spineless, and we knew he would do this. Well, guess what? Guess what? Wrong again. They have omelet on their face. And I'm not talking about from the Paul Castronova show either. They have omelet on their face. Well, I'm sure there are probably some people wouldn't mind having omelet on their face. Maybe a few years ago, omelet, not anymore. But, yeah, not just egg. Not even a scrambled egg. A big, fat omelet all over their puss. They even look worse than old crater puss today. Because they rush to judgment, because they believe the bull crap in the newspapers. You think that after a while you'd learn your lesson. You learn that when you read something in the local newspapers in this town, you better check it and recheck it and check it again and again and again and then get a 10th answer. Just like this, what George told me about go to a doctor to get a second opinion, which I think he's got a damn good point. Because, I mean, when somebody keeps putting something on the front pages of their newspapers time and time again, because they're too cheap to go out there and get real reporters, and they hire a bunch of stringers and a bunch of prepubescent kids and pretend that these people are news people, how the hell can they have any credibility? Just like I told you the other day, Michael Jordan's going to resign. Or this was when the NBA settled the strike. And the Herald, because of their incestuous relationship with Mickey Arison and the building of that needless arena there in downtown Miami, you recall the crap that they pulled with that bogus election, and the role that the Tony Ritter played in there with Mickey Arison hopping into bed together, put that one over on the public. So more important than the presidential impeachment, the big story, the lead story on the front page, NBA settled a strike, in spite of the fact that most people said we don't give a crap. Here and there, everywhere else in America. That was the most important story? I mean, give me a break. The only thing these people are out to do is squeeze as much advertising out of those pages as they can and try to manipulate for their own profit. That's all they care about. For their own power and their own profit. That's why there's the non-group in Miami that sits around and decides who's going to do what and who's going to be where and who's going to control what. And that's another reason why you'll never have casino gambling in this town or in this state. Is because these people don't want to lose any of their power, any of their death grip that they got on everybody else. 11 after 1 at 560. And by the way, I just mentioned this in passing because I know the really important stuff is over, but Henry Hyde is opening up his big fat puss right now. The impeachment of the president the trial is beginning right now. We are blowing out your ass, Henry. Go have an affair with somebody's wife. 12 minutes after 1 at 5, if you could find it. I don't think you can find it anymore. You think you could find it?
No.
Dumb Jock.
Bite me. I want to know if Mike Tyson will fight me.
Okay.
I hope he likes me. Should he want me, I'll be there if he invites me. For $30 million, I'll be a sport. I'll bend way over should he want more. And Tyson can bite me like a smorgasbord of boxer food.
117 at 560 WQAM.
Oh, man.
Exactly. So we did miss the Mike Tyson press conference. Where was that on? When did you see that?
It was like a TV interview. They were showing the highlight of it last night.
Oh, last night. Well, I was at the Maple Leaf Panther game. You think I would be watching that crap? But anyway, so evidently he lost it again and was saying, and mother her and stuff like that. He's a real classy guy. I hope you enjoy your $50. Maybe you have like one of those, illegal decoders like that earlier guy. Because in this case, we certainly wholeheartedly approve because it's worth it at twice the price. Here's South Miami Beach. Hello.
Hello, Neil?
Yes, sir.
Oh, you're mentioning Tyson, the Holyfield real deal. That's what Holyfield calls himself, the real deal, right?
Yeah.
So, Tyson wanted to know what the real deal tasted like, right?
Yeah, and moving along, sir.
Well, anyway,
let me tell you, the thing about Jimmy Johnson, what I can't understand, we live in a town that's mostly Cubans, right? These Santeria people with their
Santeria. Okay, have a nice day, pal. Jackass. 2 open lines in Dade, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T. The Cuban Santeria people. I think this guy's been choking the chicken too much. Maybe his problem.
We have that interview, apparently.
With what?
Ready to go. The Mike Tyson.
Okay, let's hear it.
Mike, Francois Botha, 6-1 underdog. Are there any concerns on your part?
I don't know anything about that. I don't know nothing about numbers. I just know what I can do. How about kill this mother?
Okay. How about the 19 months off?
What about it? What about it?
Does it pose any problem to you?
We'll see. I doubt it seriously.
You take into the ring a lot of rage. Does that work for you, or does it work against you at times?
Who cares? We're in a fight anyway. What does it matter?
Well, for example, rage against Evander Holyfield worked against you.
Well, it. It's a fight. So whatever happens, happens.
Mike, why do you have to talk like that?
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem, turn off your station.
You know what? I think we'll end the discussion right now.
Then we could.
You got it. Have a nice fight, Mike.
Off.
I'm the type of guy with a big square head. Oh! I win all my fights, except the ones who's dead. Yes, I'm that type of guy who pounded Michael Spinks and showed him that he's short and his boxing really stinks. I'm the type of guy who always is alert. I showed Carl Williams that the truth can really hurt. You're the type of guy that thinks that I'm a bum. So I just say to you that you are D-U-M-E dumb. I'm the type of guy with my weaving and my bobbing. I only lost one fight and the bitch's name was Robin. I'm the type of guy who makes the people laugh and put the man down in a... I'm the type of guy who makes the people stare just because I keep all my cash in Don King's hair. I'm the type of guy, and the public just attacked me. And if you don't believe it, then you had better ask me. I'm the type of guy. That's what I'm giving to the world. I'ma kick your butt. I'm the type of guy. If I was giving fuck, I'ma kick your butt. Yes, I'm the type of guy. Next fight comes in my face, I'ma kick you know that. I'm that type of guy. Don't mess with me, or I'ma kick your butt.
Squirt, squirt. 121 at 560Q. I mean, he's a real fancy guy, a real piece of human dreck, okay, is what he is. Here's a fax from one of our real chronic faxers who says, understand your obligation, but it's a terminal interview. You can't hear the questions. Well, that's the way it goes. That's why I hate press conferences, because number one, first of all, most of them are with people that we don't want to hear from anyway, who have nothing to say. And number two, you can never hear the questioners, who are the reporters and the media people out there in the audience, including somewhere in the back of the room. And it's always, so it's really, really bad radio. But in this particular case, I mean, it's the Dolphin station. It's a humongous story. It was on the front pages of both our major newspapers this morning. Incorrectly reported. Nice going. Oh, my God. The egg on your face newspapers, baby. I'd be embarrassed. I mean, I'm embarrassed enough to work here, but I'd be embarrassed to work at one of those newspapers. Even if I was just delivering it, if I was the paper boy, I'd be embarrassed. I'd have to hide my head in shame. I'd have to wear a ski mask every morning, taking out and delivering the goddamn papers, lest somebody recognize me. Pure, unadulterated, beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Crap.
That's what it is. Non-stop.
Crap.
Here's Miami Beach. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Howard. I was watching the press conference, and to me it sounded like Jimmy was speaking from the heart, especially when he started talking about his mother.
Yeah, he got choked up. I mean, you could see it.
A lot of.
I mean, like I said, I hate to break the news to people. He's a guy. He's not some kind of an automaton, a machine.
Yeah, and he does have a mother and a father, and
he did.
He does have a life. Well, he did have a father. But I thought he showed a lot of balls when he still coached that Denver game, and you know, a lot of people could say what they want, but I mean, he's the right man.
Isn't it interesting? They were knocking him for that. I had to defend him for that, saying, you know, at least he showed enough dedication to the team that as much, you know, anguish as he was feeling, he still felt that that was such a big game and people expected him to be there, and he showed up.
That's right. I mean, you know.
Yeah, in this town, you can't please these people no matter what you do. I've learned that the hard way over 23 years. But no matter what you do, you cannot please these people. It's never good enough.
Yeah, and even if he would have left and went to see his, you know, to be with his mother.
Oh, then he really would have gotten a...
Yeah, but I would have, you know, I mean, unlike anybody else, I would have understood. That's his mother.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, I'm glad he's here.
You don't understand. This is Miami. He owes them something. Don't you get it?
Yeah, I know. But I'm glad he's here another year at least, and, you know...
and you can... Okay, get a new phone. Okay, have a great day, pal. You can see the handwriting on the wall. It's very obvious. I think what the deal is, he's going to move a coach for another year, then he'll move upstairs and become GM, and Wannstedt will move in and become the head coach. I mean, he practically painted that right out there for you. But don't say that, because then, you know, I don't want to confuse those people in the newspapers. Open line at Dave, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Maybe somebody out there has actually chronicled the ongoing series of Don Smiley erroneous articles in both newspapers in this town. Alan Snell in the Sun Sentinel and Barry Jackass in the Herald. Front page of the front section, front page of the sports section, day after day after day, month after month after month. And you really ought to save. These should be collector's items. I should save these, the front pages of both morning newspapers today. No, you know how people save newspapers from like, you know, VE Day and Pearl Harbor Day and things like that?
Dewey defeats Truman.
Right, exactly.
Headlines.
I mean, this is classic South Florida journalism at its very, very best. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Tell me one thing. How does one turn your TV off when you're getting an interview with a microphone on the Tyson? Did you hear that?
Turn your TV off? He said turn your station off.
He said, yeah, whatever it is.
Well, he's an illiterate jerk. What do you expect?
Listen, Neil, you shed the light on me. I went to the Maple Leaf game.
Yeah.
I'm the guy that called up with the kids, and I want to apologize. I told them, let's try it, let's sit down. We only stood up when there were goals, and really it was a lot nicer setting. I appreciate you. I apologize for all that.
Well, congratulations. We had a real well-behaved crowd. A small crowd, too many empty seats, but it was a damn good game.
You got it.
Okay.
And listen, what do you have against these bridge tenders?
Okay. Oh, God. I prefer chicken tenders myself. We have an open line in Broward, 567-0560. It's amazing how much better I feel now. I still got the red puss and everything, the hot puss. But, boy, now that my blood pressure is down to normal and I'm still alive. So thank you very much, Neil, for having enough common sense to bring in your own stuff and your pill and not listening to anybody else out there. Because, you know, very easy to talk glibly about other people's health. You know what I mean? Very easy just to say, oh, you'll be fine, you're okay, you never stole a freight train, have a nice life, you'll be... And then as I'm sitting here looking at that thing going up, I'm watching, you know, you can almost watch that, like the applause meter, like the fake applause meter at those arenas. 26 after 1 at 560 WQM. Hank Goldberg will be here from Vegas. He's out there, of course, for the big fight. Bozo and Bozo out there Saturday. And like I said, more power to Hank, baby. Oh! God bless him. God bless America, and God bless and Hank Goldberg, too, for a stupendous job today, being the one person in America who, instead of just listening to what Fox said and what this one said and what the Bozo said in the morning show this morning and the newspaper said, actually took the trouble to call the parties involved and get the real story. Right down to the bottom line. Jimmy's staying. Wannstedt's going to be the assistant. He's getting married to a what's her name, and that's it. Right there, all 3 points, right on target, Hank. Let's hear it for the humper.
Oh!
Hey, stupid!
Jeb Bush. Hey,
Mr. Richard Smoker, you're a poopy poker. Chardonnay and cocaine in the spine.
Okay.
Cigarettes and coffee bread. Little boys on crystal meth. Tonight we'll tango in the street. You eat scar cake, Mr. Richard Smoker. You're a chicken choker. Tonight you're gonna let it all hang out. Pantyhose and documents. Smoking menthol cigarettes. Tonight we'll tango in the street. You eat scar cake. Mr. Richard Smoker, you're a no-no yoker. Cognac and black coffee with the boys. Dancing in your busted brown. Whirling to the techno sound. Your hands are wet, your hair split. You smoke big Mr. Richard Smoker. You're a velvet coker. Bruce and Jeff will pick you up at 10. Going out, dancing city, Friday night, gotta look pretty. Night will tango in the street. You eat, coffee, Billy Babu, Billy Babu, Billy Babu.
It puts the lotion in the basket.
I'll bet it does. 132 at 560 WQM. We have an open line in Dade, 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Hank, like I said, from Vegas at 2. We got Booster very briefly at 6 because we got the pregame Panthers show at 6:30. Panthers and the Hurricanes in Carolina, 7 o'clock. Very, very gigantic big game tonight. Have we heard any more about Pavel Bure today?
No.
Okay. Here's Boca. Hello.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
you're beautiful, Neil. You're beautiful.
Yes, I am.
Hey, how's that Tyson? He a disgrace or what?
Yes.
Yes.
Swearing on the TV.
Uh-huh. He's a scumbag. He was a scumbag, and he always will be a scumbag. Yeah. And like Hank said this morning, they've had that deal cooked up for this fight at the MGM for over a year now, and it was just they went through all the motions of this hearing and getting him his license back. And, it's just dollars and cents. It has nothing to do with anything else. He can do whatever the hell he wants, and they're still, as long as they can make the big bucks, they'll still use him.
I thought he was in therapy, though.
Yeah, he's in therapy, right?
He's in therapy. He should be a nice person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he went to a psychiatrist.
Well, guess what? It didn't work. Yeah, what do they call that? Anger control, anger management class. That's what they call it now. With all these crazy jocks. Oh, they need to go through anger management class. Anybody else, they throw them in a goddamn, in the slammer for about 5 years. For beating up their women, as these animals say. Oh, yeah, well, I beat up his woman because that's a cultural thing, No, we don't know. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Neil, how you doing?
Okay.
Neil, let me ask you a question. Michael Jordan had a press conference yesterday. You didn't show none of that. How come you showed Jimmy Johnson?
I showed it? Why, did you see it on your screen?
Well, you put it on the air, I mean.
Yeah. Because Jimmy Johnson is a local story with the Dolphins, which is the Dolphin station, and everybody in this town was on the front page of our papers here, and everybody in town cares about the Dolphins and Jimmy Johnson.
Really? Are you sure it wasn't because he's white?
Oh, that must have been it, because he's white. That's right. I forgot. Michael Jordan's black. Thanks for reminding me, sir, okay? Next time Michael Jordan is in the news, be sure we don't put it on. Because he's white. That's why we talked about O.J. so much, because he's black and he murdered 2 people. If he would have been white and murdered those same 2 people, we wouldn't have talked about him, would we?
No.
There you go. Michael Jordan's black. Oh, my God. Talk about paranoid. You're more paranoid than Jeff DeForest. And that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate slap I can give you, pal. You're more paranoid than Defoe. Here's Miami. Hello.
Howdy doody.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Bluster, look, Clarabelle the Clown need to get...
Okay. Open line in Dade, 567-0560, pound 560 on... Boy, I'll tell you one thing. They're on the old hot sauce today, baby. They're on the big jungle juice today. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I just called to commend you and Hank for doing such a great job on the breaking story this
well,
morning.
Hank's the one who did all the work. I just sat here and took his call,
right,
but it was great.
But the fact that you had it covered...
Yeah.
When everybody else was jumping to conclusions. Just
right, and the fact is that I kept saying all day, how about we sit back and see what he has to say
right.
here,
Because I was ready to jump to conclusions just like basically everyone else this morning.
I mean, this guy was called every name in the book. I don't hear anybody apologizing, by the way, or saying, oh, well, maybe I acted prematurely, or maybe the media, led me down the garden path. I don't hear any of these people with the cojones to call and say, well, I said the wrong thing, we're out of line.
Right, that's what I mean.
They just crucified this guy. They gave him a verbal lashing, and basically for what? It's not. I mean, did he do a bad job here?
No.
The last 3 years?
No.
Every year they won one more game. This year they won a playoff game, and and then they got the crap beat out of them by a far superior team.
I just wanted to call you and say, way to go! Oh, and,
all right. Oh. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Okay, what do you say? He said it puts the lotion in your casket. We have an open line to Dade, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Yeah, we didn't carry the Michael Jordan press conference because he's black. See, I guess I must like John Conyers from Michigan because he's light-complected black. That's why I like Malcolm on The Young and the Horny. Real light black and just beautiful. How you doing, Malcolm? Where are we going? Here's a mobile in... And that's probably why we don't like Mike Tyson on the show. He's too dark. Mobile in Fort Lauderdale, yes? What is it?
Neil?
Yes?
How you doing?
Okay.
Listen, Neil, I'm one of those, a couple of weeks ago you were asking for crossover guys to listen to the first
Your cross-dressers, yeah. The cross-dresser will listen to the worst team, yeah.
There you go. Anyway, I
have that effect on you.
I've been listening to QAM since about 10 a.m. this morning.
Right.
And the only thing, I commend you. You were absolutely right with what you said about Johnson. I've been listening to you all day, off and on all day.
But the only thing is I didn't hear everybody cutting everybody up Jimmy this morning. I heard a few.
I heard about 40 minutes of it.
No, I heard a few disgruntled Jet fans and a couple of disgruntled Marino.
No, I'm not talking about Jet fans. I'm talking about Dolphin fans who were ripping him ass.
Because I think the man's done a hell of a job.
I'm just telling you what I heard when I was coming to work. I'm not making that up.
Nobody's saying you made it up. You said that when you talked about it that you only heard about a half hour to 40 minutes of the whole show.
Right, it takes me about 35 or 40 minutes to get here, and during the time that I listened, which certainly there was a lot of calls that came in during that period of time, plus what Joe and Defo were saying, most of what I heard was just caustic and slicing.
Yeah, but those guys, Joe and Defo, listen, if Defo doesn't stir up controversy, he doesn't feel like he's a part of the show. I mean, they're great. I've been listening to them, and I listen to you too.
Yeah.
And then I go right into Hank. But I got to tell you, every now and again, the media gets a little out of hand.
Okay, have a great day.
Thank you, sir. I really.
Okay, thank you. We have an open line in Broward, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the HCA. What is he laughing about? What is this man laughing about? Does anybody...
No.
Honey, that's an asshole.
Banana picking Julios who thrive on anarchy are building an arena for the Miami Heat. Having two arenas somehow don't seem right. Better ask Jeff Owen for financial advice. NBA's locked down. There's no basketball. They're all on strike. Let's burn the place down. An insurance check would sure be nice. Before we lose our ass, take a can of gas. Like that,
Here's a great fax from Nancy, a big Jim Mandich fan. Yeah. Says when you're giving Hank Goldberg credit for being the voice of reason and accuracy, which he was today, baby, mention also Jim Mandich. I heard his broadcast last night on Channel 10 saying that he thought that this meant JJ would become general manager and Dave Wannstedt would become head coach. Not entirely accurate, but at least a better estimate of the situation. Right on, Nancy. Who else in the world would say,
were you fudge packer?
Love that Jim Mandich. I told you before. Jim Mandich is God. And Hank, I tell you, every day since I've been here, I would go home listening to Hank until those awful press conferences. I'm not talking about today's press conference, but those other ones. And he made a joke about it this morning. And I just can't deal with that. Please, after I get home, in fact, what I should do is call Hank every day, call the producers and say, okay, I'm home now, let Hank put on the press conferences. Because you can't, first of all, if you wanted to hear what most of these bozos were saying, which I don't, but if you wanted to, you can't hear what the questions are anyway. You think a coach, I mean, what is that? But when it comes to really getting the story and putting it where it's at, baby, there's nobody like the humper, I'll tell you that.
That was funny.
Here's a mobile in Weston. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
Hey, I was watching Channel 6 last night, Tony Segredo. You should have seen his face. He actually said, I just confirmed this a few minutes ago. Jimmy Johnson is quit. You should have seen his face.
Nice going, Tony, you jackass, you silly. I told you he's a silly goose.
Oh, my God. These people are incredible. And about the Michael Jordan thing, who cares? He's got enough money anyway.
Well, we already knew that. There was no surprise there. I mean, what did he have to say? He's going to spend time with his kids and have a great life, you know, and great. Good luck to him.
All right, Neil. Thanks, man.
And have a great day. So you loved Michael Jordan, or you're indifferent about him, or maybe you hate him like poison, but what was there to say? He had nothing to say. It's just another staged media event so they could kill a lot of time and make a big song and dance and try to suck some viewers in there because, you know, I mean, the only other thing that's going on now is the impeachment trial of the president. I mean, that's not important, is it?
No.
Okay, so forget about that. Open line and date, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Yes, sir.
How about Hank in the honker there, huh?
Yeah, he honked up a good one today.
You sure did, but let me ask you a question.
Yes.
I want you to see if you agree with me on this. Now, something just don't fit right with this situation here.
It do not fit right?
It doesn't seem to me. Maybe you can agree or disagree.
Yeah,
I don't really. I just got to understand this.
Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy brings his best friend down, gives him an assistant head coach job.
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
he flaps the media with, oh, he's going to quit or whatever, or there's rumors going on. You don't think that there was any kind of money involved
wait
there?
a minute. How do you know he started the rumors that were going on? The rumors didn't quote him. They quoted people, the assistant coaches and people in the organization.
What about when his father? His father said that he was going to retire. He had heard his father. Now he didn't call his father a liar when he said that.
Yeah, he didn't call anybody a liar.
So if
he didn't call anybody a liar.
That's true, but I mean, you don't think that there's no money involved? I mean, in regards to where his best buddy comes down here and he gets the assistant head coach job.
Yeah, you don't. In other words, you don't think Dave Wannstedt is qualified? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not saying he's not a good coach.
So what is the point? Maybe how about if Dave Wannstedt came down here and coached for free? Would that make you happy, sir?
No.
Okay, thank you. We have an open line. Boy, I tell you, like I said, they're all looking for an angle. There's something mysterious. There's something bizarre. They're always questioning it. Like I told you before, you cannot come to this town and do good. That's not sufficient. You must have an ulterior motive. You must be basically a real son of a bitch. There's got to be something behind it all, okay? Because generally speaking, whoever you are and whatever you do, we don't like you. One open line at Dade 1 in Broward, 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil. Buongiorno.
And back to you.
I have a question. Hey, I'm not that good as you. But anyways, I've been to Italy a couple times. You ever been near the Lake Como area?
No, I have not. I've seen Mario Cuomo on TV many times, but
okay.
that's as close
There's
as
a good movie on.
I've seen Perry Como in bed trying to sing.
Life is Beautiful, an Italian movie. You seen it?
No.
I heard it's great. I saw it.
No.
And
Yeah.
it's very good. And I just want to put my 2 cents about Jimmy Johnson.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I follow sports, but it's not my life. I really don't care if he's here, he's not here. I mean, that's
Well, that's
his
what I said
problem.
this morning. I mean, this is not the end of the world, and these people that are going off the deep end, like Dan LeBastard, and the woman that called weeping on the air on the morning show this morning, like this is the end of the world. I mean, like you said, it's sports. Keep it in perspective and get a goddamn life already.
Just like Michael Jordan, I enjoy watching him. A big deal. Is it going to change my life? I wish I had his money,
Absolutely
but that's
not.
about it.
And guess what? I hate to break the news to these people. He plays in Chicago anyway. He doesn't play here. A couple of games a year he plays here. Other than that, he doesn't play here. Maybe a game, on the weekends on television. That's it.
I think you should get back to talking about Italy.
Okay. Have a great day.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno. One open line in Day 2 in Broward, 567-0560. I'm still waiting for these people to retract their disgusting, grotesque comments from this morning. I know you're out there. You're not fooling me. All you assassins, you ought to sign up with Peter Bolger. You ought to get in the radio business, all of you. All you jackasses that were calling this morning. And this other guy that told, oh, well, you didn't hear that. I heard it 35 or 40 minutes. Mostly, there may be one or two exceptions, mostly nonstop attack. Vicious attack. And I've never met the guy. I don't know, my satellite guy, Mohammed, he also put up a couple of satellite dishes for Jimmy Johnson. Always has told me he's a good guy. Likes him a lot. So I don't know anything about him personally. He impresses me as a hard ass when it comes to the media. And I said that before. But I don't care one way or the other. It doesn't make any difference to me. But the kind of vicious attack in the gutless and spineless and two-faced and a turncoat and, yeah. Well, guess what? He ain't going anywhere. Oh. That's why they all dummied up right now, because the cat's got their tongue. Because that's what happens when, anybody can open up a big mouth when they don't know what they're talking about. And that's one of the things I bitch about on this radio station is we got a lot of guys, especially, and don't even mention the word hockey on most of these other shows, because they don't know what they're talking about. You're not fooling me. Maybe you can fool some of the dummies, the bodies that you up out there at the Mac Arena. You're not fooling me. I watch more hockey games in an average week than most of these assholes on this station have watched in their lifetime. And that's the truth. Went to the Panther game last night and a Leaf game. Come home, watch the rest of the Pittsburgh-Phoenix game. Flipped over and watched some of the Ducks game. And what other game did I watch? Like 4 games in one night, at least bits and pieces, including one game live there, which was a great game last night at the arena. The Leafs and the Panthers. And got people on here, including that little twerp ass sucker there in the morning. Saying things that are so patently ridiculous, like this Peter Worrell stuff. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. That's right. That's why he's in the minor leagues right now, okay? Because he's not a frickin' player, which is what I've been telling you day after day, week after week. Oh, and by the way, Chris Wells, he's injured again. He ain't coming back yet. He pulled it again in his groin, too. Oh.
Leasing cruise ship.
Just minutes from Boca, Palm Beach, and Aventura. America's largest Lexus facility is acres of pure Lexus luxury and your very best Lexus